Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, the executive producer here, and I've got a few pre-show notes for you. First, a reminder. All of the content we produce is available on our website at finalshowfilms.com, as well as youtube.com/senstaku, senstaku.podbean.com, twitch.tv/senstaku, and on iTunes. We are only able to do the things we do thanks to the kind support of our Patreon donors. We give a special shout out to our $25 tier supporters, Antitonic and Cat Waterflame. If you'd like to support us that way, be sure to check it out. Secondly, a thank you to the folks over at 411mania.com. They produce articles and content related to wrestling, MMA, movies, music, and gaming. Go check them out. We appreciate their support as well. And lastly, be sure to subscribe, comment, and rate, if possible, wherever you listen to or watch our content. It helps us know what you like, what you don't like, and helps us make more content. Feedback is always appreciated. With all that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our Legend of the Five Rings campaign, Shadows of the Valley. I'm John, the storyteller for the day, and with me today is Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Kisaki Hisoka, Dragon Investigator.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Ari, Crane Clan Duelist.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I'm playing Yase Hinata, the healer.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Renakane, Crab Clan Berserker.
And when last we visited the land of Rokugan, the Kisaki Hisoka, the youngest of 13 children to Kisaki So, Lord of Tengoku no Tani, the Valley of the Heavens, was assigned with his entourage to investigate both the disappearances of farmers from the nearby farming community of Kawa no Futago, and also to prepare the land for an ambassador coming from the Mantis clan, due in 1 month's time. To do this, they were being sent south to Kawa no Futago to see why people are going missing, what information that could be gathered, and to do their best to make the valley a safer place. Before leaving, three of the entourage, Hisoka, Hayato, and Akane, were all given additional information. Hisoka and Hayato both were told that a scroll from the nearby Tomori monk school citadel had been stolen, and that they were to see if they were to find any leads regarding that, they were to investigate further. Akane was told that there had been reports of Shadowland's taint spreading inland, and to keep her eyes open for any such occasions. And Hayato had been told that Spider Clan infiltrators had been reported coming into Dragon Clan territories, and to maintain and to basically hunt down, notify and or eliminate them. So the group set off from their home at Kisaki-jo in the north of the valley, south towards the bay and towards the village, the farming community. Along the way, they found an overturned cart in the snow, and upon investigating further, found a group of bandits, one of whom was wearing Spider Clan colors, having captured the merchants, presumably for money, under the orders of someone referred to only as a dark god. Having taken this person to the nearby town, Tengoku no Mizumi, which also happens to be the place where the monk citadel is, they prepared to interrogate him in the morning, leaving him in a cell. There were a few of the party went down to speak with this prisoner over the course of the evening, and early in the morning, about 3 a.m., Nakano Hayato, who had been spending much of the evening checking in on their prisoner, found the cells disturbed. There was no guard outside the door that led down to the cell area, and upon going further down, he found one guard dead, his face having been crushed by something, and their prisoner headless, with his blood used to write a warning on the wall behind him, saying, I believe it said, "The Dark God comes."
Yes.
Yes.
Something to that effect.
Jack is not going to be with us today, but Hayato, looking at this message on the wall, adjusts his glasses up and very calmly and quietly turns on his heel and walks back upstairs, where the first thing he does is hurry to Kisaki Hisoka's room. Hisoka, you've been asleep for a while when you hear the soft but urgent knocking on your door.
Yes. Struggle to get up. One moment. Get dressed. Slightly. Just enough. I are good with words today. Throw something on and go answer.
As you open the door, you see Hayato standing there. Kisaki-sama, I have information that you require.
Yes.
It appears that during the night, somebody has killed our informant and the guard watching him.
Yes, that is information that I need.
If you would,
It's a couple blinks.
if you would go downstairs, I will alert the rest of the guards in the building and meet you there.
Yes.
And he slips off to one side, heading to awaken the guards. Not going to awake the rest of the entourage just yet, but he is awakening the guards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm heading straight down.
After a few moments, you arrive at the door, that not quite to the cells themselves, but at the door before it. And Hayato and the Hayato and why is the name suddenly fleeing my thing? Hideki. Hayato and Hideki, the magistrate, are there with another pair of guards holding spears. Hideki obviously putting on, adjusting the robe that he had hurriedly thrown on. Kisaki-san, your man tells me that somebody has caused a ruckus in our holding cells.
A bit more than a ruckus, as I understand it. Let's.
He'll nod his head. One of the guards will go open the door, and
Yeah.
the guards will go down first, basically.
Yep.
After they go down, Hideki gives it a minute and then follows. After which you and Hayato follow. And you hear the guards starting to cuss as they reach the scene.
That is the appropriate response.
And eventually you follow down, and Hideki doesn't say anything. He just adopts a more stern look on his face as you see the dead guard on the floor, blood trailing from the guard to the cell, the bars of the cells bent open. Or sorry, the bars of the cell bent open, and the headless corpse leaning against the far wall with a message written in blood.
Well. I am going to start forensically looking things over. Because our weird ass clan actually cares about that kind of stuff.
It's true. Hideki orders the guards to awaken the rest of your entourage and also seal the room. And
Yes.
he, so basically leaving himself, Hayato, and you in the room as you look around. Give me a investigation roll.
Investigation?
Yep, give me an investigation roll.
Right. And I still don't quite understand what this part means, but I get a free raise on investigation rolls.
Yes, so a free raise basically means you get the effect of a single raise on an investigation roll without
Okay.
having to actually raise.
Okay. Good to know.
So if there's something in particular you want to find that might require a raise, then you just get one for free.
I mean, any.
Like, for instance, are you
exactly
looking
who's
for...
behind this? No, I know.
So
that's
are you
not...
looking for exact
Yeah, I
cause
know,
of death
like-
or things like that?
Like, I'm looking for exit and entry
Okay,
point.
give me your first roll.
Okay. Investigation, that is trained, and it is... this is not interrogation, so... 35.
So, you find, other than the bent bars, you find no sign of forced entry.
Okay.
You can only assume that whoever did this came in through the front door and left through the front door. There's no there's no sort of dugout tunnels or broken walls or anything like that, other than the obviously bent.
Right. Is there... aside from the guard that's inside, the dead one.
Yeah.
Are there people who would have had visibility on the outside of...
Yes, the guard...
I actually will look over at and ask that. Is there anybody who would be aware of or have sight of the front?
There's always two guards on duty, the one inside and the one at the door. That one should have seen anybody entering. They weren't there when we arrived, which leads me to suspect they might not be here anymore, in one sense or another.
Who was... what information do we have on this?
Was a member of the other family whose name is leaving my head. At the moment, I need to grab a book real quick.
A different dragon clan member?
Yeah, it was the
family?
Mitsurugi.
Is it... oh, I know who you're talking about. Mitsumori?
And I need to pull up the book because I've forgotten the name of the clan.
Mitsumoro...
As we butcher names that we don't have remembered.
I have an excuse. I zeroed in on one family.
Minamoto, yes. Minamoto.
Yeah, Minamoto.
Thank you. I should have had the book open, but I didn't.
I zoomed in on one family when I made my character, and because that was a family told us it was.
Yes.
We're from.
Minamoto Jin was the guard on duty.
Okay.
Minamoto.
Well, that would be... it would be of paramount importance to find him.
Indeed. At roughly this point, the other three of you, there is a urgent and loud knocking on your doors. Boom, 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 boom.
Hinata is up and probably dressed and at the door in less time than you would expect with her bag ready.
You open the door and...
okay. I wake up. Yeah?
As individually as you each open the door, there's a guard out there insisting that you follow them.
Akane probably opens the door only about half dressed and looking very pissed that someone has disturbed her sleep.
Dragon Clan guard looking at you in the eyes, going, if you would please ready yourself and follow me, ma'am.
Be right there. Shut the door. Open it. A second later, dressed.
As I said, Hinata was already fully dressed when the door opened. It's like...
Yeah, but Akane wasn't. So, Hinata, you get down there first because you were already ready. And you are allowed down into the basement area where you see Hisoka looking over the remains that have been previously described.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Hinata just sort of subtly tries to move her bag a little bit out of frame.
And then after a few more moments, Airi and Akane arrive.
I was expecting a different person to be dead.
Oh no.
I never hope that they're dead. I always like them. It's just they end up dead a lot. I'm kind of jaded to it.
Who ends up dead?
I didn't say that out loud. I said that in
I was gonna say,
out of character
I was
stuff.
gonna say there's about to be the most
Very
polite
weird
guy
conversation.
standing right here in your life.
So,
So yeah, well that's going on. I'm going to start looking over the rest of. I want to know if this person struggled against their death,
give me
if
another
they were
investigation roll.
willing to, the exact manner of the death, so on and so forth.
Give me another investigation roll. And anybody else who wants to also look into that information or anything else while you're down here, give me an investigation.
Here's
rolls.
a question that, like, the one I asked yesterday probably has a disturbing and/or obvious answer. Are people's blood water spirit?
No.
So
Blood
I
is
was
its
one-
blood is its own thing in magical terms, and is something imaho, which is something you don't touch.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I can't
I
get
w-
more of this shit.
So I'm gonna try and investigate. It's probably gonna go too terribly, but I'm wondering if the injuries on the guard outside and our prisoner are from the same thing.
Right, give me an investigation check.
Specifically,
I got a 43.
Okay.
17.
Ida, the first thing you notice is the guard on the outside still has his head, so you have no idea.
Yep.
Hisoka,
Go a little pale.
as you're looking, so you sort of you immediately desensitize yourself, relegating this body to a pile of meat rather than a person.
Yep.
To help you investigate a little bit better.
So I have a quick clarification question, by the way.
Mhm.
I know that, as you just said, blood and that sort of thing is very low stuff. However, it's also essential to forensics. So how does that work for me?
So for you, it's fine.
That's what I think.
Specifically in the realm of magic, blood has its own unique standing.
They get better spells, but they're not. I'm not
Because
supposed to use the better
because
spells.
I know that like autopsy is autopsy and that sort of thing is a low skill. So I wasn't sure, or not autopsy specifically, but
Autopsy would be a medicine thing.
Things where you
which
handle
was-
bodies. Yeah.
there was definitely like the people who handle bodies
Yes.
are low. Okay, if
Yeah.
if it's fine, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, people
As
that
he,
people
like,
that handle
takes
bodies,
off his-
grave diggers in particular, are considered a low class. But physicians do handle bodies in terms of autopsies. So
Right. Okay. So yeah, he like takes off his outer clothing, keep that clean, and
Yeah.
just goes.
okay.
Well,
So you sort of get down and you're investigating the guard out on the outside first, just because it was the first one killed and it's an order of operations thing. And you're looking at the remnants of his face, and you do see bits of crushed skull. So you're pretty certain that whatever killed it was bludgeoning.
Okay.
There is no. Typically, if somebody were to take a club or a mace or something and bash somebody's face in, bits of metal or wood would be left behind.
Right.
There's
As
no.
you do.
Yeah. There is no remnants of. There's no foreign objects in the face here, which would lead you to. First, would make you think, oh, they used the wall or the floor, but there's not enough blood on the wall or the floor for that to have been the case. So the only thing you can conclude is that somebody punched this man with the force equivalent to a large spiked mace.
The
Great.
thing I was going to ask after the question about whether or not I could
Yes.
bloodbend, was, could I don't know if there's a check for this, but could I basically be like, I'm a Shugenja, I'm familiar with the basics of what spells are and how they work. Could I identify any that might have been used in this instance?
Sure. Give me a spellcraft check.
Ooh, I'm good at that. Well,
Um,
I put ranks in that.
So yeah, looking at the guard on the outside, Hisoka, you've determined that he was killed by being punched really, really hard in the face repeatedly.
Repeatedly. Okay, it wasn't just like one punch splat.
It was not. This is somebody who
that
was,
would be terrifying.
You're only if it was somebody that did this in one punch, that's a lot scarier than somebody who did this in like 10 or 15.
That is correct.
So you're assuming that it was more than one. You can't confirm it was more than one, but you're assuming it's more than one. Just from the amount of damage here. With a
18.
With an 18. So when spells are cast, when Shugenja spells are cast, there tends to be a residual affectation to the spirits in the area. None of the spirits in this area that are currently inactive are reacting to any sort of spell, so you're pretty certain no Shugenja at the very least did this.
Okay.
Or at least if
And
they did,
my
they
like
spells.
basic Shugenja training of stay away from the evil mages isn't like telling me, oh, that means it's the other thing automatically.
No, this doesn't seem like Maho.
Okay.
Maho leaves a very distinct and bitter taste in the spirits around. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You're not. Yeah, no Maho, and also no other Shugenja spells, as far as you can tell. Hisoka, you then go into into and continue to inspect. Give me another investigation roll for your inspection of the headless one.
Okay. 38.
So this one's a little bit weirder.
Then punching a skilled guard in the face repeatedly until they are dead.
Yeah.
Without any apparent
Yeah, you also noticed that it didn't seem like
value, no apparent fight back. Or
it didn't seem like the guard fought back.
Wounds,
yeah,
nothing like. Yeah, weirder than that. Awesome.
Yeah, well, primarily because you operate under the assumption that when a body is missing a head, the head was cut off.
Right.
The first thing you notice is that there are bone fragments all over the ground around the body. And there's a particularly large and concentrated blood spatter on the wall where the head should be. Your immediate assumption is that somebody grabbed this man by the face and slammed him into the wall so hard his head exploded. That's the only way you can really rectify the bits of flesh and bone that seem to have exploded around the body.
That was part of the cranium.
Not Hisoka laughing.
Yeah.
That was the cranium piece right there.
But yeah, like you're looking around and you're seeing teeth, and oh yeah, that's an eye. Yeah. It like this man's head didn't leave the room; it scattered across the room.
Again, no defensive.
Doesn't well. I mean, his arms are bound behind him, so
yeah, that was already the case, right?
You imagine if there was any defensive wounds, they went away with his head.
Yeah, valid point.
But yeah, so like as you're looking around, you're seeing tooth, tongue. I'm not sure how the tongue got there. Eyeball, bits of flesh and hair. Yeah, no, his head is decorating the room.
So he frowns.
Just like glance over shoulder at Nakane.
Looks back. Is in that time whatever it is, the person who's in charge here?
Hideki, yeah, he's still there. He's standing back.
How long did that much take? Is it time for them to reasonably have information about Miyamoto-jin?
A lot of the stuff that you sort of looked at this is sort of very cursory information without touching the bodies or moving them around too much. This is just what you get by effectively leaning over and looking.
Okay.
Just do the Sherlock Holmes once over. Just
yeah.
Akane's interested, based on how this person seems to have entered the room, looking at the bars and just kind of testing them with her own hand. How sturdy are these bars? How much force did it take to bend these out?
Give me a strength roll.
Strength.
Which is flat strength, yeah.
15.
You grab the bar and pull, and it doesn't budge. It's just solid steel.
We're looking for somebody with exceptional strength, with the ability to, as I start pointing out, organs on the ground.
Just to clarify, my earlier roll would have included like a self-enhancement spell.
Correct.
Okay.
The head was not taken with.
That's almost impressive, but also sickening.
Irie is trying to keep her composure and slowly gonna back out of the room.
Give me
guard.
Let's see. Give me a meditation roll. Let's see how well you can keep yourself controlled.
Let's see. I think I might have a thing that applies. Sorry, my sheet is being extremely
will just sort of
slow.
stand at attention.
I'm trying to see if balance would affect this at all. No, that's temptation. Okay.
Yep.
Now I have to get it to scroll up. It's really bad.
What browser are you using?
Firefox.
Try switching to a different browser. That might help.
I might, yeah. I'm just gonna roll this one at least.
Yeah.
27.
You managed to keep your composure and walk back up to the door.
Yes. Yeah, and the guard outside at least did not appear to fight back, despite being hopefully hit multiple times with a fist.
Are you suspecting poison then?
No, I'm suspecting somebody who is able to punch with a certain level of rapidity and an extreme level of force.
Hideki immediately goes to cup his chin. If we assume that this was done by someone within the city, the obvious choice would be to pursue the people of my order. Not to brag, but we do sort of specialize in punching people with our fists.
You are not incorrect.
Though I'm unaware of any fellow members of the Togashi Order who possess this level of strength, at least not naturally.
Well, do we know if there's any magic going on?
Is there anybody within...
Nothing that I can discern at this time.
Is there anybody within your order that has attracted attention that might border on disciplinary? Perhaps would be the best way to put it.
He sort of thinks... Potentially, but I am not a keeper of the rolls. That would be a question for Togashi Gen, the head instructor at the Citadel.
As currently, I believe... Let's see if we can find the other guard that may... If we are lucky, I do not believe will be the case, but if we are, perhaps they are still alive and we can locate them.
And at roughly that point, Irie, did you actually leave the room, or were you just standing by the door?
I left the room. I was actually going to see if any of the other, because there were guards that summoned us, and they were kind of clustered around when we came in, if they're around, like, gossiping.
So as you step out, only one guard is there, just sort of standing guard. It seems like the others had been dispersed. After a few moments, though, one is sort of jogging up, calling out, "We found Jin!" To which the other guard sort of excuses himself past you, opens the door, and heads in, calling down to the rest of you that they had found Jin.
I'll follow.
I will go up to meet them.
Yep. And you all...
I don't like the lack of description there.
You all...
It is what I expected.
You all head up and follow the guard.
Take us there.
Yep. And they take you around to up out into the main floor, and then rather than you'd expect to go to the right to head outside, but instead going to the left, they take two lefts and then a right and open up the door to a storage closet that has maintenance, that has cleaning supplies and various other maintenance aspects to the building that the caretakers use. And in it, crumpled in such a fashion that makes you think most of his joints were broken, is the dead body of another Dragon Clan guard.
Just given where this is, does it seem like the guy was dragged Hitman style to the nearest box to be shoved into?
That's a safe assumption to be made, yes.
Okay.
Is there anything missing off of him? Anything obvious, like his
armor?
armor?
I'm going to start...
Nothing obvious. You can give me an
Not
investigation
literally,
check,
but digging in.
Yeah, give me an investigation check. Anyone who wants to look him over.
29.
Doesn't look like anything's missing in particular, but you do, just from the sharp angle most of his limbs are at, it seems like somebody did a severe number on this person very quickly. His right shoulder is broken, his right elbow and right wrist are broken, his neck is broken, as are, it appears, several like sections of his spine.
Either someone did this very fast, or there were more than one person. If the other guard didn't notice.
Consistent. If this level of physical strength is unusual, it seems more likely there's only one. But of course, I defer to Kisaki-san's expertise in such matters.
One consistent thing that you have noticed, Hisoka, you have not seen any footprints, even in the bloody mess that was downstairs.
Right.
So you have no idea if there was more than one.
That man predicted his death. Our prisoner. I spoke to him.
Right.
And he said that he wouldn't survive the night.
Kind of leans back and stares at the ceiling for a bit, just contemplating.
He said that... Let me find my notes here. That Akujin was going to take him. Akujin, that's how it's pronounced.
Is there a check we can make or no?
I mean, Akujin means dark god.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's a fairly important name. If you want to check and see if there's anything else you can recall,
Show.
lore Shadowlands or lore heraldry.
Shadowlands lore,
heraldry
that's my job.
it is. 16.
Untrained lore it is.
Yeah.
9.
Shadowlands lore. I'm not very smart, so 18.
So with a 9, you know the name means dark god. Hisoka. It's not a standard name. This is not a name that just anybody would name their child. So
I'm going to name my child Dark God.
Yeah, it's not like
that seems good in the incredibly religious society.
Like to give a Californian example, while some people might name their children things that might be the equivalent of sunshine or moon or journey, very few to nobody would name their child this.
Nobody would name their kid Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said California example, and then you claim no one would name their kid Satan. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
William said no one would name their kid Satan.
Valid point.
That's fair. In a heavily religious like Christianic society, no one would name their kids.
Yes.
So that's the first thing that jumps out into mind for you, Akane. You've heard stories of lost who have taken that name. Never anything concrete. You've never met anybody like any of one of these lost, but it seems to be a name, according to the stories of other samurai on the wall, that particularly powerful individuals who retain their identity after succumbing to the taint might take. That those tend to be entities associated with Fu Leng, the dark kami that is the source of the Shadowlands taint. They tend to be spoken of in the same breath one might say that name. You're not certain at all if that's accurate or not. That's just the only information you have about that name.
This stinks of the Shadowlands.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Akujin is a name that the lost take if they're strong enough to retain enough sense of themselves to have a mind. And the lost, those that swollen with Shadowlands taint, are often incredibly powerful.
And all of you know that the lost refers to samurai who have succumbed to Shadowlands taint and effectively become monsters.
But
Why are they taking peasants then?
a better question is, how are they this far into Rokugan?
Hideki will sort of slide past you all and gather up the remains of the body. We will have a Shugenja look over the body and see if they detect any taint, but he may have died quickly enough that that's not the case.
Yeah.
And, do you offer, Hinata?
No, I was going to say, I'm assuming that my ability to sense spiritual things doesn't work on corpses.
Not typically. There is a specific earth spell that...
there's several earth spells that allow you to sense the taint or restrain the taint or other things.
Taint the taint.
That just sounds wrong.
Anyways, typically no. Again, talking to the dead, the spirits that Shugenja speak with are not human spirits. They're
No,
elemental
it's
spirits.
so my clan ability
Yeah.
allows me to sense people's spiritual weaknesses.
Yes.
Usually you don't do on allies, but if they're an ally in a bad situation, you might do it to help. I'm assuming that does not typically work on the dead things.
No, it would not work on the dead. Because at this point, their spirit, the thing that you would be reading, has left their body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get the soul read when there's no soul.
That's fair. So
he carries the body off.
For last week's game, I wrote down notes, and then those notes went away when my notepad crashed a day later. So remind me what the whole thing with this particular city. There was a reason. There was something we were supposed to be doing. There was a side sort of quest thing.
The information
was stolen.
Yeah, the information you had been given was that something had a scroll of some kind had been stolen from the Togashi Order's citadel. On the island.
Suspected that they were involved. Someone from there was who did it.
The Order suspects that it may have been an inside job.
Yes. Okay. So I had it. Okay, cool. Well, Shadowlands are your specialty. Thoughts from here?
Is that directed at me?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be honest, my role is to crush the taint wherever it is found. Our Shugenja are more adept at knowing their methods and methodologies. I am a soldier.
But you've seen things.
I've seen things. I've never seen a lost this powerful. I've never seen a lost that takes the name Akujin. You have, and those who do typically don't survive. That said, where they come from, the taint tends to follow. If we could find anywhere where the Shadowlands is creeping into the valley, we might find where they came from. And I suggest we find some jade if we can.
Hmm. So on that note, seeing the map that we have in front of me and knowing the map that's in the book, how close are we to that big Shadowlands area that's right near Dragon Clan?
Other side of the Dragon Clan territory from it.
Okay. Good to know.
Yep.
Well, this.
Yeah, we're like somewhere west of G20, I think, and Shadowlands is SH5, yeah.
Yeah.
Opposite side of the territories. There's a mountain. There's two mountain ranges between you.
This is kind of an unrelated question. Does anyone know where the honor table is?
In the handout.
There is a handout.
Yeah.
In Roll20.
That makes it easier.
Yeah.
I put all the tables in. I put most of the tables that I thought would be necessary as a handout in Roll20.
Yeah.
There's individual handouts in Roll20. Akane, make me a lore Shadowlands roll.
Yeah, Shadowlands lore. Trained. 20.
So you're thinking about the Shadowlands taint at this point, just thinking about where you might find it. Unsurprisingly, taint tends to cultivate in dark areas. So you're thinking cellars if they're in a city, catacombs if it may be like a citadel, um, caverns in the mountains, the darkest parts of the woods. Um, these are just the areas that immediately pop into mind as you're thinking about places you might look. Also, graveyards.
That last one kind of stands out to her. Is there a graveyard nearby?
The guard that's been left with you. We typically burn our dead, but the farming village of Shinrinohashi, on the other side of the forest, tend to bury theirs in the water.
Shadowlands taint gathers in places of death and places where darkness reigns, deep underground, and places where the dead are buried. I think we might want to inspect the river.
It sounds like a good plan.
It would be the bay itself, not the river.
Yeah.
And then any catacombs or cellars that have been left abandoned.
There aren't any abandoned houses in town here, at least. You may check in Ijizoku no Minato, the port city. We don't have any information about them, but I believe the Citadel has catacombs, though.
You know what I'm saying?
Out on the lake.
These are both places we have business. This seems like a little bit much for a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Kazaki-san, I regret to say, while I am trained in being a Shugenda, elegant, speaking like a fancy person, I am not specialized or skilled in any particular abilities that allow me to sense places where the taint has taken hold.
Sorry, say that again. I heard the words.
I don't
and they
have
had
a magic darkness detector.
Oh.
Um,
I heard the words. They registered in my head, and
a sentence didn't come out. Yeah.
No sentence came out. Yes.
She
No,
talks
okay,
fancy and ambiguously.
Yes.
What do you want?
Also, Kasaki-san, the people who've gone missing have been centered around Kawa no Futago. If the shadows have gathered there, that may be why people have been going missing around that area. There might be areas near there. There are mountains nearby. There's...
Yeah. Before we head off there, I would like to. I would like to speak with the insert name of monk order here, because he wouldn't just say monks.
The Togashi order.
Yes, the Togashi order. They may be able to provide some information, and then yes, that seems to be a place to go.
So it's roughly 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes,
now.
I know. That's not stopping him.
Really early.
No. I'm just putting that information out into the world so that you all know it's 4 o'clock in the morning now. Would you like to head straight to the Citadel, or would you like to go rest a bit somewhere other than in here, presumably?
So
what I want is entirely irrelevant.
Akane just kind of says, also, Kisaki-san, you can almost sense the sarcasm dripping. It's early in the morning and no one's awake to actually answer our questions.
They can wake up.
There's just this look of, There was a second meaning to that sentence, and you clearly didn't get it.
Uh-huh.
Will not be pleased
You are
about-
correct.
Would I know if the person? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the precise name. The keeper of the records. Book.
Togashi Gin.
Yes, I was just forgetting the title. If that sort of title rank or an equivalent of it I would be familiar with is outranks us.
Yes.
Everyone does.
Keeper of the rolls.
Well, yes, that is the assumption. I just
We ain't got no rolls and we ain't got no toes.
Saki-san, I might ask if this is something for which we should disturb Togashi, insert correct suffix here.
Togashi-kin.
Sama.
Togashi's. If this is something we should disturb Togashi-sama over at such an early hour.
It is courteous to allow people to wake up and have coffee.
However, this is also a rather extreme
is.
situation that Togashi
Yes.
may wish to be appraised of. I am unsure. Actually, do I know?
Give me an etiquette roll.
Great.
Ooh, can
thank
I?
you.
Yes, anyone who wants can give me an
Actually,
etiquette
no,
roll.
that's
Good
fair.
at
I will
etiquette.
roll
Like
etiquette.
Shadowlands,
I
big
have-
deal. Waking up Superior, also big deal. I just don't know which is a bigger deal.
I have
6.
lots of etiquette. So.
Terrible roll.
Akane just got that look of like half-lidded eyes of
Emphasis
like,
of
I want to sleep now.
Emphasis of courtesy,
Yes, emphasis of courtesy applies.
33.
This is in particular courtesy. So it's actually is a legitimate thing. The expectation is
Yeah.
you are to attend to your superiors and status, not the other way around. So waking them up is a very rude thing to do.
Mhm.
On the other hand, this is potential Shadowlands taint you're dealing with. That is something that any superior should be informed of as soon as possible if it pertains to them or their territory. So
Thank you.
there are the expectation there is that you will initially receive a bit of frowning, but once the information has been delivered, it will then be understood.
Yes.
That is sort of the understanding in realms of, at the very least, this. You imagine that if it was just the prisoner having been killed, that wouldn't be good enough. But
Right. Everything that he's putting together, going through it in his mind. Prisoner dead, Shadowlands taint, as somebody as pointed out, possible Togashi member. Scrolls stolen.
yeah, no,
Big problem.
No. It definitely, there are lots of things here that would indicate to you it would be okay in this
Yes.
particular instance to override typical courtesy. The courtier knows about courtesy.
In this case, I believe an exception should be made.
Right, so you guys head off.
We're heading out.
Yeah. Mhm.
You
Of course.
so how do you intend to get to the Citadel?
Sorry, I got it. No sleep for you.
Kind of just dragging behind. Hayato, as you
It's
guys
just
leave,
like the sword dragging behind her, digging a furrow in the ground.
as you begin to leave, Akane, a hand taps on your shoulder.
She turns over her shoulder.
Hayato is holding a cup of tea, a mug of tea up to you.
Take. drink.
Where does he find these?
You get
is
that
the
caffeine
question.
rush.
All
And
right.
he takes the cup back and bows and secretes it away.
Where does he find these mugs of tea? Is my question. They just appear.
Do you actually ask him?
Yeah. I will ask. Where did you? I didn't hear. I didn't see anyone come up with tea.
He looks over. Oh, well, as I was gathering the guards, I went ahead and put a kettle on so that we could have some tea for those of us who didn't get quite enough sleep. And he pushes his glasses up and follows out.
As things have sort of died down
So I'm actually.
slight,
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yep.
No,
slightly
go ahead.
now while we're walking over, Hinata is sort of looking over Hisoka, ensuring that he wasn't injured in the process, of whatever happened.
Give me a medicine roll, unless you're looking
Okay.
over him in a very particular way, in which case you need to tell me.
No, just looking like injuries, ripped clothing, anything that would indicate that there was like an assassination attempt involved in this or something.
Soon.
Yeah, give me a medicine.
He's not like he's about to have a spontaneous heart attack.
Well, you can't see that.
There's a drooping of the face and relaxing of muscles.
19.
He looks a little tired, but that's mostly I got woken up at 3 a.m. thing.
I mean,
More than
I just
anything
want to
else.
say he's 17, and if I remember that point, by the time you've had enough time being awake to investigate 2 ridiculously dead bodies, you no longer look tired.
There's still a little bit of tiredness, mostly because you stayed up late checking on the
Akane's
guard.
Akane is 31. That is no
That's
longer in her repertoire.
No, because
Yeah, you're 21 going on 70.
Hisoka
But
got
she's 31.
31, I mean.
Hisoka went to bed at midnight and got woken up at 3, even though he's only 17. That
Yes, no, that's
still
fair.
leaves an impact.
Okay.
But other than being tired,
Ignore my bitterness at the resilience of youth.
he took his outer coat off to investigate the body, so there's not even any blood or cuts or anything on him, and he put it back on. So you all step outside into the snow-covered town, crunching along a path, heading towards the surprisingly not frozen lake to the south. As you get to it, in fact,
Then where do the ducks go in the winter?
in fact, as you get to it, you sense you sort of can sense a bit of heat coming off the lake as you approach. And some of you suddenly come to the realization, and Hisoka, you already knew this, that Tengoku no Mizumi is situated on a natural underwater steam vent. So the entire lake is basically a hot spring. And that's actually why the citadel was built there, because of the balance of fire, earth, and water and air spirits there. Because of this vent, it sort of brings everything up into balance and in equilibrium with each other, so that even in the winter it's cold even in the winter it's warm, and it's sort of a high spirit activity place. Yeah, you guys are standing on the edge of the lake. There are a couple of docks, but there doesn't seem to be anybody out on the docks at this point yet.
I mean, we had member of the order there with us, right?
You had a guard.
Tagashi.
Togashi Hideki left to go find a Shugenja with the body of one of the guards.
Okay.
The guards appear to mostly be Minamoto.
Do I know how to get across?
Give me a etiquette roll.
I'm gonna be really annoyed if it's wait until morning. Emphasis courtesy again.
We can wait up a boat.
Yeah,
We can wake
courtesy,
up a boatman,
okay.
but this is not courteous.
No, it's not. But
Yeah.
25.
There are ferrymen that take people across to the Citadel, but they are currently asleep. You would have to wake them up to get a ferry going.
They're of lower station than you, though, so you know.
They
Yes.
are. They are.
Not
At
everyone
thus,
outranks us.
Cut
Just
to us
everyone within
waking
our
up
own
the
social
ferry.
status.
So you guys wake up a ferryman who gets out of his stupor, puts a kettle of tea on while he prepares the boat, and then once he's had his tea, he will of course offer anyone else who would like a cup of tea.
I take a second cup of tea.
Will, after everyone has had their tea, will set off on the ferry. It is quite a distance from the town proper to the Citadel. By the time you get there, the sun has risen.
Okay.
Akane probably got an extra hour of sleep on the boat. It's quite nice past, like, as you guys are rowing across, you find yourselves pulling off your heavier clothing, like just the outer coat, because even though it's winter and you would need that elsewhere, the heated lake, it makes the boat very comfortable. And in fact, you start sweating if you wear that extra layer. So, and you guys get to the end of it after an hour. Akane, you're jostled awake as the boat thunks into the dock. And yeah, you guys are at this citadel. It is a massive walled structure, from the outside at least, with this dock on the bottom of sort of on the water, with a path leading up and winding around to an entrance. And inside you can see spires and taller buildings. This looks like it was originally built not by a monk order, but by somebody that came before, and they adopted it as their citadel. More than it doesn't look like it was purpose built to house a monk order.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you
Find
guys,
the appropriate people to wake up to get this ball rolling.
As we head off, I will thank the ferryman for
Yes, of course.
going out of his way. And
he nods, and as you guys get off the boat, he sticks the pole back in and begins to push back across. You all head up to the entrance to the citadel, where you are greeted by a pair of young monks, their heads shaved bald, their bodies not as covered in tattoos as Hideki's were. They both only have 2, where Hideki had 6. They have 2, one on each shoulder. Both of them have a make sure I have the right tattoo here. Yeah, they both have a bamboo style tattoo going down their left shoulder, and a crab tattoo going down their right. And they sort of look at you, hands together, bow, and pull the gate open for you.
And the horizontal flip is throwing me off.
Yeah, give him a nod.
And that was from your guys' perspective, like their left, your right when you're looking at them.
Right.
Yeah, and you guys go inside. The guards didn't say anything. It seems like this early in the morning, many of the monks are out and about, but not talking. So yeah, you see there's a couple of different packs of monks, mostly young. There's a couple older that seem to have been awake for a while, going about their daily morning routines. And you see you're sort of in an interior courtyard between the wall and the main building.
Okay. Do we know the name of whoever's in charge here?
The only name you currently have is Togashi Gen. the keeper of the rolls, which
Yes.
would be not necessarily somebody in charge, but it's the person in
But
charge.
somebody,
It's their
he's the
HR
person
guy.
in authority that.
He's their HR guy, basically.
Well, that would be the person we want to speak to.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah, I will go up to Muddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of monks practicing forms.
Yes.
And they stop as you approach, bow, and fold their hands expectantly.
Mhm.
Greetings. I'm looking for Tagashi Gen. Where might I locate?
They just hold up a single finger, look over, and they don't say anything, but you get the sense that there's some sort of communication between the two of them.
Right.
And then the other one looks and just crooks a finger and walks towards the building.
Thank you.
Vows of silence.
Monks, yo.
This one leads you into the building and up a spiraling staircase to an antechamber that's sort of immediately off the front entrance of the Citadel. The Citadel, as you walk in before you get to the staircase, is this massive stone construction. Akane, it looks more like a fortress than a monastery to you. And the stone, and all of you can tell the stone is noticeably ancient. This has been here for a long time, and what purpose it originally served, none of you can quite tell.
I think this place has been around longer than the Order. I'm pretty certain this was a fortress at some point.
And the monk leads you up a spiral staircase. Bids you wait with hand motions. Bids you wait in this sort of antechamber and goes to a door to knock on it. Thum, thum, thum. After a few moments, he nods, turns around, holds up a finger like this to the rest of you, and then leaves. And after a few more moments, the door opens and a more obviously elderly man steps out. He's got to be in the realm of... Hisoka, you figure he's probably at least as old as your father, if not older.
Okay.
But he wears his age a lot more than So does.
Mm-hmm.
So is just aging at the temples. This man looks like he's been dipped in water for 70 years.
Gotcha.
As he steps out very, very cautiously, not necessarily as if someone afraid to trip and fall, but as someone that is very purposeful with their every movement. Steps out, closes the door behind him, looks up at you. Ah, visitors. Welcome to our citadel. I am Togashi Gen. How may I be of assistance?
Yes. Okay, let me try that.
As Hisoka dies right there.
And prophecy fulfilled.
And Hinata goes, damn it, another one!
I am Kisaki Hisoka. I would like to, if you have time, speak with you about a situation that has developed in the city.
Well,
that I think you may be able to assist with.
Well then, please come into my chambers. And he
Thank
opens the door back again and steps inside.
Yes.
And as you all enter, you find yourselves in what is ostensibly a bedroom. There's certainly a bed off to one side. But the rest of it, except for a wide arrow slit that lets in light from the outside, is covered in shelves and scrolls and books and a ladder to get to the higher levels and journals and notes and all manner of paper and writing.
And I will introduce everybody else as well.
Hayato stays by the door, closing it as the rest of you all get in, and he just sort of stands there. Well then, Kisaki-san, how may I assist you?
So There is and I'm essentially going to lay out the situation as we have seen it, starting from us actually basically starting from what's going on in what we've been sent for Kawanofutago to the bandits, to bringing them here, death,
Yeah.
possible monk infused murders, although not phrasing it that way. And I was wondering if perhaps you could provide some insight into specifically the methods around what's what happened this morning.
Well, it certainly doesn't seem like something that would be impossible for a member of our order, though it would be obviously frowned upon. We teach our ways in defense of our clan and of the Dragon Clan as a whole, not to run about murdering people.
Of course.
As to how it occurred, I'm not certain, though. Did you mention the missing scroll that you had been told about?
I have not yet.
Okay. Did you mention...
That actually is something I want to clarify.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, there was a very specific reason why it was just left to... why that information was just left to... or divulged
to you and Hayato.
Yes.
Yes, there was. Specifically because it was potentially an inside job, and they wanted to eliminate suspects.
Right. So yes, that's why it has not been mentioned.
That's right.
And
did you
try desperately not to have it come up, so I don't have to try and lie because I can't.
That's fine. Were you asking about students? Because I know you had asked Hideki about students.
Yes. Is there? It was expressed. It was expressed while we were looking over this scene that the only person that this seems like something, as you said, that could be possible. Is there anybody? Well, I'm certainly not intending to accuse anybody. I need somewhere to begin. And is there, knowing who is here as you do?
Most recently, we have had to expel a student from our order. If that is information that may assist you with your search.
It absolutely might.
He was brash and violent and not utterly, shall we say, unfit for the teachings here. He, however, did not receive any of the Kami's blood. That would, and he sort of taps the, he's got 6 various tattoos of various types going all over his body. These are inked with the blood of Kami. Our order is descendant from one of the Kami.
Yes.
He did not receive his tattoos prior to being removed. Junichi is the name. No family name. He was an orphan. We released him on his way. I believe Mirumoto Bushi had taken him under his wing, perhaps hoping to channel that anger that the young man had at the world into more constructive means.
Sorry to butt into this conversation, but have any of your order journeyed into the Shadowlands and not returned?
Many of our order journey to the wall to assist, or to wherever the Shadowlands taint resides to assist Awabushi and the Crab Clan as well in extermination, or to recover lost artifacts once taken by the Lost. None from this citadel, as I recall, though we are hardly the only school of the Tamori, of the Toga. They are hardly the only school of the Togashi in Dragon Clan area. Our school tends to focus on internal protection of various other realms within the clan's territory.
I think. Yeah, no, like Akane's work is like actually sacred. He's got literal nothing to hide.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
From my understanding of what occurred, this seems like the work of a powerful Lost, and combined with the techniques that we've seen, it seems like it could be a Lost who was in life one of the Order.
If that is true, that could indeed be a frightening opponent. The Shadowlands taint fortifies those that it takes, and if they are any level of skill within the Order, then it would be a dangerous foe indeed.
If I might inquire, have any of your order journeyed towards Kawa no Futago and not returned in recent time?
Not that have not returned, but one of our order has recently returned from Kawa no Futago, if you would speak to them.
Yes, who would that be?
That would be Tagoshi Midori, a young flower of the order who is quite prodigious for one of her age.
Okay. What was the name of the Miyamoto Bushi who had taken Junichi under
Shiori.
Shiori? Do you know where we may be able to find Shiori?
Shiori, I believe, hails from one of the northern territories. I don't know if they remain within Tengoku no Tani. If they do, I imagine they would either pass through Kisaki-jo on their way north or head south to the bay to catch a ship.
Okay.
I should ask, just for the sake of completeness, have you, in your records, encountered in any of the stories from your order that have journeyed to the Wall or to any of the Shadowlands the name Akujin relating to any of the Lost?
He thinks for a minute. Goes over to a scroll, to one of the walls, and fiddles through some scrolls for a minute. Akujin, you say? Are you certain that is the term exactly?
That's the term we believe this Lost to be traveling under.
Yes.
Pulls out a scroll and comes back and puts it down and rolls it out. And you see a depiction of a what is obviously a Tagoshi Order monk, with long black hair and tattoos down shoulders down the back, sort of standing off in a defensive stance, as a large blue, almost oni in its nature, but too small for that, enemy is leaping at him, also with long black hair flailing in the sky, in a sort of captured moment of combat being joined between a monk and a demon. And along it is sort of kanji writing describing the scene as he opens it up. Yes, a member of the Order from the north, Kairai Kyo, once returned from a battle with an Oni, or it was described as an Oni, but also as a lost. I was not there myself. This text, however, describes Kisaki Kyo, member of the Togashi Order, did battle with an Oni named Akujin, and slew him beyond the wall of the Crab Clan, while on a journey to recover artifacts lost to the shadows. He returned unharmed, and continues his work as far as I know, though his exact location I do not. Very few of our Order in living memory have killed an Oni, so the storytelling was something to note down.
Of course.
Mm.
All right. It's going to turn to
Sorry, I said something. My mic was muted. I said the line that I said after the end of that was "Nothing in the Shadowlands stays dead forever."
Likely not.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I just kind
I
of
love how you both go and then sorry in unison.
I missed some of the context that I don't know if this will help other people. Was the implication of like the storytelling was big that other people in this order would be like aware of that name and that event?
I mean, it sounded fairly momentous to me.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
It would definitely be something. The killing an Oni by itself is a momentous occasion.
Yeah.
When a Crab Clan samurai fully armored with really good weaponry and with a sacred blessed weapon made of jade does it. When a monk does it bare-fisted,
Yeah.
You kind of just
Basically was the implication that this had reached a pop culture sphere to some extent.
at least within the Togashi Order, yes.
Cool. That's what I was trying to determine.
So
This man out-muscled a demon. He is quite famous. At least within the Order.
Hisoka looks over at the rest of his group, like, I need a few minutes by myself with Togashi-sama.
Of course.
Assuming that we are appropriately dismissed by our other superior,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
sitting there drinking
who,
tea.
no offense, outranks you.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Hayato bows, opens the door, and lets everybody out, and then steps out himself and closes it behind him.
Togashi-sama, I have also been, in addition to what we were looking into, I have also been alerted to the situation regarding the theft of a scroll here.
Ah, yes. I was wondering when Kisaki-sama would send someone to investigate that.
Yes, this is not. It is not our primary
Of course.
mission at the moment. However, with everything being as it is, I'm definitely open to the possibility that it is related to the other thing that is going on currently.
Potentially. He sort of leans up and pulls down part of his robe,
Mm-hmm.
revealing sort of his side where you can see a variety of tattoos. And he indicates particularly to one that is effectively a tattoo of the ocean.
Okay.
And as he touches it, it sort of glows a little bit with magic. This is the blessed tattoo of the ocean. A monk who has this inscribed upon them need not fear death from lack of food or drink. We are sustained by the very essence of the kami.
Mm-hmm.
The instructions for how to apply such a tattoo and the ritual to imbue it with the blessing of the kami was stolen from our archives not a month ago. We have additional information. The records themselves were not lost, but the significance of such a gift should not go unnoticed on one as erudite as yourself.
Yes.
And its theft is disturbing. And its return is quite important.
Of course. That is absolutely my hope. That seems like something that very well may be related to what we're currently looking into.
It may be.
Do you have any... I know that... How long ago did this happen?
Roughly a month ago.
A month ago. Has there been any internal looking into this? Done anything? Anywhere to start?
We have done an amount of investigation ourselves. We have not identified any suspects as of yet. That is, in fact, what Togashi Hidori was doing in Kawano Futago, checking in with some leads there. She seems to think that if someone made off with the scroll, they may be heading to the bay. Though she thinks that she caught them in Kawano Futago, so they may not have left until very recently.
Okay.
You may speak with her more on the matter. Let her know that I allowed it, and she will inform you.
Of course. Thank you. That gives me somewhere to start.
He sort of nods. Would
Okay.
you care for tea?
Yes, of course.
You need a pee
Because
so
you
bad
don't
in like
say
5 minutes.
no.
I mean, he doesn't even need to drink it, but he still drinks it. So,
Yeah.
you share a cup of tea, and
I have enough time for pleasantries until,
and then
I find an opening to suggest my departure.
and he allows it.
Okay.
And you step out to the rest of your party waiting in the antechamber.
I think we need to go speak with
Togashi Midori was the
gosh.
Yeah.
I was looking at the notes because I are good with names. So yeah.
You guys head back downstairs and try to end. So as you head back downstairs, you hear. It's been about an hour since you got here. And as you head outside, you hear voices in conversation. All the monks that were previously quiet are now talking openly. It seems as if whatever silence they were under was for a specified amount of time.
Okay.
And that has broken now. So you can feel free to ask anyone that you'd like. And as you do, you are very quickly pointed to the training grounds south of the entrance. Heading there, you find a short and willowy female monk, head shaved, and you see sort of her tattoos are sort of going down the back of her head, down her spine. And you see the Kirin, which is sort of a fiery bird-like entity. starting at the top, going down, perched on top of a dragon that sort of serpents down her spine, and then off to the left and right of the dragon are a lion, and a crab. And you see she is currently training with with two other monks who do not have nearly as many tattoos as she has. And you notice you notice that her tattoo goes all the way down her spine because she is currently the top part of her robe is basically down around her waist as she's sparring with these other two individuals. Okay. She has written you immediately identify as a bicento, a long pole arm with a heavy blade at the end, and is spinning it around as if it were a quarterstaff, deflecting blows from her two sparring partners with the blade, just smacking it away and then whipping it back around and lightly tapping them with the butt end of the staff. As you approach, they all three sort of look over and acknowledge your presence, finish out their round of sparring, bow to each other. She flips the bicento around, stabs it into the ground, and pulls the top part of her robe back up to cover herself and looks over. Greetings. We have guests. How might I help you?
Yes, hello. My name is Kasaki Ahsoka. And we are, introduce everyone else also, of course. I've just come from speaking with Takashi Gen, and you understand that you had been investigating a situation in Kawano
She looks over at the other two monks and nods her head, and they head off to a different sparring area. She looks at you, then she looks at your entourage. Yes, I was in Kawano Futago. Is there something in particular you were asking after?
Hold on just a second.
Are you pausing?
Not. Oh.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hisoka is not.
I
Jeremy
feel bad
is.
that we're making you do
Okay.
so much of the talking. Oh.
Otherwise, I was going to interrupt, but
I mean, feel free. If you want to, feel free.
okay, I will. We've been sent to investigate the disappearance of peasants from that village, and we think something from the Shadowlands is taking them. I was wondering if you saw or heard any indication of an person calling themselves a Kujin.
He sort of thinks for a moment. Does your investigation involve at all any mention of wolves?
Not yet, it doesn't.
I'm trying to remember if there was any vague reference to wolves until now.
Not until now, no.
He not. No.
Oh,
sorry. Were you saying something, John?
No. What was Hinata saying?
Hinata will speak up. Not specifically, but we do know people farmers disappeared unexpectedly from their fields. So.
Yes, that is certainly something that has been happening. Also, there's been an increase in the wolf population coming down from the mountains north of Kawano Futago. That was a strange occurrence, but one I had written off as seasonal until you spoke of Shadowlands taint. I'm wondering if perhaps there is something driving them south.
That gives us direction.
That was the primary disturbance that I was notified of while there. An increase in the wolf population harrying people living on the outskirts of town and making the north of the village generally unsafe for small ones. Missing villagers have certainly caused a bit of an uproar within the town itself, though not so many have gone yet that they suspect foul play, so much as people wandering off drunk in the woods and not being able to find their way back.
What do you think?
I think they are wandering off potentially, but not of their own accord. Though whether this is related to the wolves or related to whatever is driving them out of the mountains, I'm not certain.
We found an abandoned cart on our way down south to investigate at Kawanafotago, and were there tracks outside of the cart? I can't remember that being a thing.
There were
No.
No, there weren't.
There were not. Okay, yeah, so it was trackless. There were no wolf tracks, and when we investigated further, we found a group of Ronin, or group of bandits led by a Ronin.
To be clear, just because you would know this,
Fine.
you guys found the cart coming this way from Kisaki Zero.
Oh.
She is indicating from here.
Yeah.
Geography.
Yep.
No one's best subject in school.
Yeah, Kisaki-jo is northeast. Is actually more east from Kawanofutago than north.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And it's
I meant
north from
on
Tengoku
our
no
way
Mizumi. Yeah.
south.
It's
or
north from
whatever.
Tengoku no Mizumi, but not
Yeah.
Kawanofutago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I understand after speaking with Terashi Gensama that you had an encounter with somebody in
Yes, I did.
Kawanafutago.
She says, and leaves it right there, looking at you.
Yes.
Hayato looks up. Hisoka-san, I have a few questions that I would ask this lady. If you wouldn't mind.
Of course.
And he bows and walks over, and they sort of walk off a little bit further to have a conversation.
Perfect. That was kind of what I was hoping was going to happen. Either that, or I was going to trust in Midori being able to be delicate enough that I could not.
So yeah, Hayato steps off with Midori to speak in
I
hushed
will look
tones.
back. So it sounds like we are heading to Kawanafutago at this point.
That would seem like the most reasonable next
Oh wait,
step.
no, it sounds like there are wolves here.
For some reason, Hayato is barking at Midori. You're not sure why.
No, that's my puppy.
He's very
Except for
convincing.
my puppy is well behaved, so shut up.
He's very convincingly barking like a dog. We're not certain why.
Because why not?
Now I'm just
Because
picturing.
anime glasses characters.
Now I'm just picturing Jack opening his mouth and dog barking sounds coming out. No motion on his part, just like a speaker, like a bad dub.
Oh, no.
Just like,
Yeah, I did bark, 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 bark. So, sorry to interrupt. You guys are having a conversation.
Quite all right.
Kisaki-san is the information you talked about with, what's his name? Not there.
Togashi
Is it
Gen.
Togashi Gen? Sama? Relevant to what we
Quite
are.
possible, but I am not at liberty to discuss it yet.
Of course.
Of course.
Which I say because I'm an idiot.
If you you need privacy for any conversations, you know that you can just let us know.
Of course. And that is much appreciated.
I am going to print a T-shirt for everyone that just says "Of course."
Beautiful.
Of course. Shadows of the Valley, Legends of the Five Rings. Of course.
You handed us a setting where we're supposed to be polite to each other and not supposed to express emotion about things.
No, it's great. It's great.
Uh,
There are limited turns of phrase.
William, you're muted if you were trying to say something.
It's got muted because dogs. I think Akane has never actually said, of course.
No, Akane is the only one who hasn't.
yeah.
Akane just says, fuck all of you.
Because Akane doesn't have time for that shit.
I'm gonna continue from that and say I trust you know when to tell us that it becomes relevant, because sometimes it's hard to know if something's relevant if you don't tell anyone. Very delicately circling the
Let's
situation.
thread that needle.
Yeah.
Hold on. I need
And
to
of
look
course,
up
my services are.
specifics of disadvantage here for a second.
Which
Ah.
disadvantage is it?
Yes.
I can roll some sincerity to
I'm not-
see how
I'm not
well you
even lie.
sometimes.
But
I'm not looking at your disadvantages, so I don't know which one it is.
it's the one where you're not. Yeah.
Sorry, Aaron, what are you trying to say?
Hinata will also say, and of course, my talents and services are available should the things need them, without, even if you cannot inform me of why you might need things.
As soon as it is
I can detect spiritual disadvantages, which feels relevant in this context, but I'm not going to say that explicitly because I feel like that is implying things about your job, and I'm not supposed to do that.
As soon as it is appropriate to inform you, I will.
Of course.
After a few more moments,
Yeah.
Hayato returns. Well, apparently there's a very nice bread seller in Kawano Futago that I need to go meet. And he adjusts his glasses again. Well then, are we heading off?
Yes, I believe so.
He will wait until you all begin walking before he continues walking behind you.
All right. Did we want to? Perhaps it would be wise
I mean, we need to go back.
recall that we also wanted to check to see if there were any shadowy places lurking in this citadel.
Mm-hmm.
That is certainly something we can do.
Yep. Somebody. I don't
Also,
know how to do that.
I will just.
Would I know which is which would be considered more of the priority, and or if that would be an investigation more typically carried out by those who are already here?
There's not really a precedent.
Also, the Shugenja that what was his name?
Hideki?
Hideki. That's his Hideki-sama was asking to investigate the body further? We could wait to see if there were any results.
Oh yeah, no, we're not leaving the city quite yet. No, we're simply leaving this particular monk citadel at the moment.
So as you guys sort of are having this conversation, you suddenly look back and realize Hayato's not there anymore.
Frown.
I'm almost certain that Min is a ninja, she says in the joking form of like, there's no way this guy's a ninja, right?
What is the name of the one that is not Hisoka and not Hinata? Jack's character.
Hayato?
Okay.
Hayato.
Yes, Hayato. Hayato is certainly very attentive to all of his responsibilities.
Yes, absolutely. And all right, is there
for like honor record, that is entirely a genuine compliment. She is not trying to passive aggressively insult him.
So is there
because an insult would be a knock to honor, but it's not.
No, I understand what you're saying, yes.
So has been suggested to check out potential shadow area. Is there any way to do that? Or
I mean,
otherwise are we just leaving this island?
Hinata will speak up. Unfortunately, I am not skilled in any of the abilities or spells that would allow me to sense a place. However, I do have a particular talent. I am trained in talents that would allow me to determine spiritual aspects around a person, such that I can often determine taint, even where it would still be invisible to others. It's, of course, something that is not common practice, but I can do it.
So you can check people, you can't check.
I can check people,
places.
I can't check locations, at least not reliably. I can inquire of local kami, as I have done previously.
Okay.
So while I can't sense the Shadowlands taint, would I be able to recognize its effects having served on the wall?
Oh yeah, no. There are very specific physical representations of the taint in areas that it is strong. You know, it's one of those things where you know it when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
If there are zombies,
that's a good indication. Yes.
Unless they have white masks, then they could have come from anywhere.
Okay.
It's my job to know these things.
Right.
Yes, but I was like halfway. Wait, is this this setting, or is that an origami reference?
No, that's this setting.
Damn me and my too many animes. I'm not sure what's accurate to this setting.
I would like to check the catacombs if there are any.
What I'm understanding, the answer is, other than looking around and randomly scanning people, no?
I would like to check the catacombs if there are any.
Okay.
If we have someone that it would be valuable to learn to clear, that is something I can do.
Well, I think I can help with that. You hear as Hayato reappears sort of just behind Hisoka. I believe I've found the entrance to the catacombs underneath the citadel. If you are interested in... I believe we were intending to investigate?
Yes. You are too good at that.
He just looks at you and adjusts the glasses. As he adjusts them up in such a way that the light shines to make them perfectly reflective so you can't see his eyes.
God damn it, my other glasses
Okay,
are
let's
around
go.
here somewhere.
He nods and leads you around back behind the citadel to a place that seems to be less populated by the monks than the rest of the place.
Hisoka-san, did you want us all to come with, or do you want someone to go and see if there have been any updates from?
That's going to take a matter. It took us over an hour to get across the water.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to take Let's all go.
Of course.
Yes, it does take an hour to get from the citadel back to the shore.
So, yeah, because it's very possible you go down there like, oh, nothing. Okay, well, I guess we're waiting for an hour for the boat to come.
Hayato leads you all over to what you assume would be a locked gate, but as he gets over to it, he just pulls on it and it opens and slides open after you.
Go.
Is this something that you normally need permission to go into? Like...
No, it was unlocked.
Okay. All right. I'll go in.
I would assume if you need permission, then it would be locked.
That is exactly what Jack
I feel
would
like
say.
I
God
need
damn
to make
it.
a roll here.
But yes, can I?
Sure. You can make a
Courtier?
yeah, make
I'm
a courtier,
wondering what-
make a courtier
yeah.
roll.
Yeah, the
Ah.
etiquette of going down into places where we're
39.
not invited in a monk citadel.
6.
So
I defer to Kisaki-san.
4.
Akane was
No
joking
idea.
about him being a ninja. She's actually pretty confident that he's just a bodyguard, so she's not gonna roll.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Let me do a thing real quick.
I rolled because I've never wandered around in the catacombs before.
Oh, that's fair.
I rolled because I always roll the etiquette stuff.
Hisoka, he seems to be honest. Everyone else, yeah, no, this is that's Hayato.
Oh, I was trying to fact check more than I was trying to insight check.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, seems correct. Like if
Seems legit.
if something wasn't meant to be gone in, then it would be locked, and this is obviously not locked. So
All right.
Okay. Then we go in.
yeah, you all head down, and he closes the gate after you, and you proceed. You head down. This is not so the first thing that you notice is that this is not lit. So after going down a few steps, you find yourself staring out into darkness.
Do you have...
Hold on.
Let me see what I have.
Yeah, the lantern. So I light a lantern.
Yeah, you pull out the lantern. Continue
That's
on
good.
down. The lantern lights up the area a good bit around you, and you continue down these steps. The stairs wind back and forth as you go down. You go down, find a plateau, turn, go down, find a plateau, turn, go down. And after about 4 or so flights, it levels out. and it's definitely warm down here, a lot warmer than it was up on the surface. And you find yourselves in what appear to be a series of catacombs. There are shelves built in for coffins. These stone sarcophaguses or coffins are lining the walls, and they all have faded but still there paper seals that seem to have closed them.
I start looking through the catacombs for any of these seals that are not perfect, that have like been torn or
Give me an investigation
that
check.
aren't sealing anymore.
Give me an investigation check.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like
I am untrained in this.
general Shugenja senses tingling
17.
for this is the stuff, the bad stuff.
Give me if you want to use a sense spell to like talk to an air spirit or something, you can.
No, general Shugenja senses,
you're just-
not burn a
Yeah.
spell. The thing that I did previously to determine if odd magic had been used.
Give me a spellcraft roll.
Okay.
I'm going to investigate.
Okay. Give me an investigation roll.
22.
Okay. Irie, what are you doing?
I'm gonna have my hand on my sword and be on edge.
All right. Irie is on edge.
Yep.
Both literally and figuratively. Hinata, you don't sense any spells that have been active in this area. What you do sense is that there aren't a lot of kami down here.
I'm assuming I have no idea whether or not that's relevant for graveyards.
I mean, it typically kami are everywhere. If they're not there, it's because something is there that can kill them.
Yeah, that's not great.
Akane and Hisoka, you guys continue on and coffin, seal, coffin, seal. Eventually, you get to a point where like the catacombs split off in different directions, and just sort of glancing over both Akane and Hisoka, your eyes fall on one coffin at the same time, and you notice that it doesn't have a paper seal on it.
Go over. See, does it have any identifying?
It's an ancient stone coffin.
Yeah.
Anything that would have identified it would be long gone. Most of these, it's almost identical to all the other ones in the catacombs. Most of these would have a paper seal on them to prevent the dead from rising.
Right.
This one does not have a seal.
I tap on the coffin. Does it sound like it's empty?
The stone is too thick. You'd have to open
Yeah.
it.
And I'm opening it.
You put your hands on it and look in, and yeah, there's no body in this.
And something reaches out and grabs my
No,
face.
there's no body in this.
That is not good.
Where's the body?
Presumably walking around splattering people's heads across the walls.
Politest possible phrasing of, oh, fuck.
Pretty much that. Everyone give me perception checks.
Sorry. Now something grabs my face.
13.
What's the perceptions? Okay, there is a perception
It's
skill.
the
Hang on.
perception stat. It's the perception trait.
Oh, just
Well-
straight.
Well,
Yeah.
Oops, that was not my perception. Well,
19.
I could be bullshitty, but it's the same number of dice.
Aaron, if you can hear me, roll your perception trait.
Sorry, I had to deal with something and then I fell over. I'm alive. Wait, what did you say?
It's good to know you're alive.
Yeah.
Look, I'm assuming that you guys heard
Aaron
all of
becomes
the
a
things
zombie
fall over, and that's
just
what you were
reality
calling me
collapse.
for.
We heard what sounded like you moving papers around. Didn't realize it was things falling over. Glad you're okay. I was asking
Look,
everybody to roll
all of
perception.
my patio furniture is currently in the middle of my house because they're painting. So
Got it.
yes, papers, and also like one of those giant window shield things.
Alright.
What do you need?
Roll perception, please.
3.
It's okay. I'm glad you're okay.
Glad you are not injured.
Mhm.
It's fine. Weirder things have fallen on my head. Where's the
It's the perception trait.
Oh.
In your watering.
20.
23.
That's why there was a
So,
natural 1 in there.
yeah. So Hisoka and Airi, you guys are sort of absorbed in the fact that this coffin should have a body in it and doesn't, and you're kind of freaking out.
And something looms high over both of us. Behind.
Hinata and Akane, you hear the sound of metal on stone echoing through the catacombs very softly. Just this.
I sort of
That's
Sasaki-san,
turn
I-
immediately with the hand on machete to face it.
I am moving, so I'm like, Akane is between me and the thing because,
You don't want to die?
well, because I don't have much health.
The
Yes.
sound is echoing throughout the catacombs. You're not certain where it is.
Okay, then I'll position myself between Akane and
The wall.
So I'm basically in the center of the 3 melee fighters.
Sounds good.
Do I have a general direction?
No. It's
Meanwhile,
echoing through the catacombs.
Meanwhile, I'm looking through the coffin to see if there's perhaps anything that was left inside that might provide any further clues.
And Hayato reaches over and taps you on the shoulder. Kisaki-sama.
Yes.
We're not alone down here.
Yes.
What do you mean?
And now that both of your attention has been drawn back, you can hear this echoing.
That's multiple. That's multiple. I suggest, Kisaki-san, that we leave with great alacrity. I'm just gonna point back the way we came.
Akane starts separating from the group and starts walking, trying to find it.
Where are you going? Are you going away from us?
Yes.
Van-san, I am very aware that this is something that you want to stamp out, but perhaps you would be best able to do that with the group.
It is
There
my.
are multiple
you're-
of them.
if
They
you're going
crushed
to
a man's head in.
If you're going to stand here, it is my duty to stamp this out.
First of all, we are not just standing here. Second of all, stay with us. And now let's fight.
So you still don't see anything. You're just hearing these sounds, but they are getting closer.
Yeah, go back.
And stepping out from
I am actually in agreement.
a few intersections back towards the entrance, you guys can see, just barely illuminated by the light of the lantern Hisoka is carrying, you see this gaunt, tall, strangely still muscled creature stepping out into view. Looking over at you all.
And Akane is just straight at it.
It's
Oh,
got.
no.
Hang on. Finish the description. I got
Go-
box
go
text
with your-
for you.
Go with your box text.
Don't ruin the DM's moment.
Don't
man.
ruin the reveal, man.
Go with the box text. We just
Um,
know that Akane is sprinting straight for it.
You see one arm bear with leather or cloth wrapping around the forearm, taloned fingers that are much sharper than they ever would have been in real life. Green glowing vacancies where the eyes should be in the interior of the mouth, wispy white hair hanging off the back of its head, and armor that seems to have been warped into the shape of a demon's face with a spiked pauldron on the other side, grasping in its hand what appears to be a double-bladed bicento. Which you see is what's making that noise as the rear end slides along the ground as its armored form steps into view. And now we're going to roll initiative as Akane takes off.
All right.
That's the second day. That's the second day in a row we've cut off somebody's cool description of an NPC villain.
Gee, I wonder if that happens a lot in this group. It feels like it does.
It really does.
23.
Where is initiative?
Bottom next to your armor TN.
Oh,
Let me pull up my list of all the
25.
combat things.
You didn't even have like a +8 bonus to your initiative. You just exploded.
5.
All right.
Oh, nice.
So we've got 25, 23. So we've got Hisoka, Airi, Akane, Creature, Hinata. All right. Hisoka. You see this creature stepping into view, and Akane tensing up as she prepares to run it down.
Yeah, no, that's gonna happen. So that's fine. I am going at the moment. I am going to sort of step forward in front of the others and go into defense stance.
All right. So you pull out. Well, have you pulled out your sword or your wakizashi?
Yeah, I already had my wakizashi.
So, shing, weapon out. Hisoka steps up to sort of provide a barrier between the rest of the group and the creature. Pulls out the wakizashi and drops into a defensive stance.
Yep.
All right. What stance are you taking, Airi?
Center.
All right, so you sort of focus yourself and your blade as you are in this darkened corridor, fighting back the fear that there might be more than one of these things in here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're preparing to center yourself. Akane, I'm assuming you're going to be taking full attack?
That depends. Does it look like it's close enough? Does it look like it's within water times 5 is 3, so 15 plus an additional. Does it look like it's within 20 feet?
It seems like so. There are 3 coffins per length between each intersection. Each coffin is roughly 7 to 8 feet long to accommodate for the excess between the feet and the wall. So you've got about 30 feet roughly, but a little under 30 feet between each core intersection. You're at one, he's at another. So he's a little bit beyond that. He's roughly 30 feet away.
I can't get to him to hit him, so it's not going to be full attack.
All right.
So
what stance then? Regular attack stance or
regular attack stance.
All right.
There's no such thing as defense stance with me.
Akane doesn't know what defense is. All right. And Hinata, what stance are you going to be taking?
Defense. And wait, do we also move at this point, or is that during your turn?
No, you move
You
during your
just turn
turn,
your
but
stance.
we know what Hisoka's going to be moving to. So
Yes.
Hisoka goes first, so it didn't up to you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, what stance are you going to be taking?
Defense.
Defense? Okay. So,
Said that at the beginning.
I didn't hear that
Yeah.
part. Hisoka moves up, gets into his defensive stance. Irie, you focus and center yourself. Next round, you have +10 to your initiative, so you're going to be acting before Hisoka.
Sweet.
So bear that in mind. Akane, your turn.
I have to use my simple action move rather than a free action move. So, simple action move.
You can free action move as well.
I can, but I can't. My free action move would not be enough to get up to it.
Yeah, okay.
I can only reach it with a simple action move. So, simple action move, up to it. Draw my weapon if it wasn't already drawn, which it probably was. And just sort of tower over it, weapon ready.
Okay. Now its turn. So it looks up at you as you move towards it. And as you move into position to get ready to attack, it just grips this elevated bison toe and slices at you. Does a 24 hit you?
Nope, my TN is 25.
Yeah, so as it moves it along, the blade slicing, sending sparks along the stone as it slides through. You just you duck underneath it and then bring your machete over to knock it down to the ground, keeping it from hitting you. That makes it Hinata's turn. So defensive stance.
So free action move to kind of cycle up to where Kane is actually back in my range, because Ebbing Strength has a range of 20 feet. So I have to actually move up to do it. And yeah, Ebbing Strength, which should, if I succeed, should give you extra strength.
Sweet.
You vastly defeat the TN of 10.
I really should raise on these.
So
yes, your strength is increased by 1, mine is decreased by 1.
Sweet, my strength is temporarily 4.
There you go.
Yeah.
Back to the top of the round. Hisoka.
Nope, me.
Oh, sorry, Irie. That's right, Irie.
Yep.
Your thing increases by 10. So Irie,
Yep.
you now. What stance are you switching to?
Switching to is it close? Dang
It's
it.
30 feet away from you.
I'm not actually close enough to get to it.
I believe your movement increases from center stance as well.
Does it?
Let me double
I don't
check.
know.
Center stance. No, you just add you get a bonus of 1, keep 1 on your plus your void ring on any one roll made during your next turn. So.
Alright, trying to remember all the
Your speed
things.
does not increase.
Yeah. Yeah. Because my move is only 10 feet. I'm gonna then do
What's your water ring?
2.
So you can
Two
using a
times
free
5.
action and a simple action, you can get up to it,
Okay.
but you don't have a complex action to
No.
to do anything.
Okay. And then can I go? No.
Yeah, you
I
can't.
have
You
to
can't. You have to switch out of center stance before you can move.
Dang it. Okay.
Yep.
You know what? He got himself into this situation. Can I stay there in center stance?
Could you move in front of me in center stance?
Yes.
All right.
I will move in front.
I mean, you can't stay in center stance anyways because you have to.
All right. I'll go ahead of. I'm not going up to the thing.
Okay.
Because I don't think she's that brave. I'll go in front of
You move up in front of Hinata.
Hanata and then go into defense.
All right. So you prepare.
Yep.
Now it's Hisoka's turn.
All right. So how far away is it at this point?
30 feet from you.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick, now that we have a visual identification on that one, can I do a perception check to see if there is sound coming, if there's any indications of ones coming from other directions?
Sure, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Even though it's not my turn, can I try that as well? Just because.
11.
Yeah, you can make a perception check while in defense stance. It's fine.
Yeah, concerned about that. No.
It's this
5.
thing between the sword sparking and the sort of growling that it's making echoing through the hallway. You guys aren't picking up anything else, but you're not certain if you just can't hear it over it.
It's not the only one growling.
It's fairly loud, and Akane's also making noise too. Speaking of which, it's now Akane's turn.
So from attack stance to full attack stance.
Everything for me?
Did you want to move or switch? What else?
Yes, my plan was, since I currently can't tell, and Irie is currently keeping Hinata safe. I'm going to move up within range of this motherfucker.
Okay, so you moved the 30 feet up next to Akane.
Yes.
All right.
And sticking defensive.
All right. Staying in defensive stance, Akane. Now it's your turn.
So, from attack to full attack stance, and then time for the swing.
Make thine swing.
Does 31 hit it?
Yes, a 31 hits it.
All right, and then with my increased strength, this becomes 34 damage.
Nice.
Yeah, you. And the blade just sort of smashes into it, denting the chest and armor of this creature, sending it skidding back slightly. It sort of rights itself back up.
The penalty for full attack stance is my armor TN is reduced by 10.
All right.
So it's easier to hit me now.
And that makes it its turn, which it's going to go ahead and take that. Does a 19 hit you?
It's actually 15 now, so yeah.
Yep.
that would have missed me hard if I had to go
okay, I want to check something, because doesn't defense let me doesn't, if I'm in defense, I can help out somehow?
I think you have to take the guard raise for that.
Yeah, you have to take the guard raise.
That was it. Okay, yeah, never mind. So many rules.
Yeah. So yeah, it whips out with this Bicento and just pulls it up at a speed that you're not comfortable with, much less familiar with. And you take 18 points of damage as it slices through your armor, and you feel this burning sensation as the blade bites into
13.
your flesh.
With my armor, it's 13.
Yep. Your armor does reduce.
I'm still healthy.
You do, however, again, feel this burning sensation as the blade bites into
For
your
anyone
flesh.
who's watching and is wondering why I am so, can you guys help me not die in combat? It's because 19 puts me to out status if I take 19 wounds.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Do I need
That
to make an
makes-
earth roll?
Not yet.
Okay.
That makes it Hinata's turn.
Okay.
When you go down into the next wound threshold, you will.
Okay. If it's still standing by that point.
Yeah.
I mean, really the best thing I can do is
Is there a version of Turn Undead?
There is. That's why I want to get better at my fucking earth spells.
'Cause that would be really useful right now.
If I'm not mistaken, the Crab Clan Shigenja are all about their earth magic.
Yes, they are. Look, also, this is definitely not the challenge rating I can beat my Turn Undead on. Okay, yeah. Gonna conserve my spells, not going to move up into nearly melee with the terrifying undead thing. So full defense, which I can maintain concentration while doing that, and that should mean that I free another fighter up to not be defending me.
So after your turn, in the spot between the turns, Akane and Hisoka, you guys hear the sounds of footsteps. As you see coming from behind, from the corridor that it had escaped from, Hayato leaping out from the shadows with a blade, sort of reverse gripped in his hand.
I was wondering where you'd gone to.
He went around. What's his? Yep. That hits, and I need to roll damage for him.
10,000.
He comes through with his blade reverse gripped, connects with this thing's neck, because he did a cold shot, and slices through it. And this gaping maw of this creature just tumbles to the ground as he slides past it, and the body collapses.
Right, I'm supposed to be doing cold shots to the head. I should know that.
And you are now out of initiative, as the creature has been beheaded.
Your strength fades after another round, but basically it's back to normal at this point.
He very quickly wipes that blade clean and sheaths it.
I stamp on the zombie's head as it rolls off.
And he stands back up. Oh.
Well done.
He bows his head and returns
do
to
I-
his standing position.
Do I know what kind of creature this is? Is it just a regular zombie or is it more?
Give me a lore Shadowlands.
13.
Not a lore I have, so I will try and.
Untrained lore check.
Yep. 11. Not bad.
Both of you know what this is, actually. This is an undead revenant, not a zombie. They are typically they are more powerful than regular zombies, and they are animated by typically by someone who practices Maho. And they retain a certain amount of their normal not full human intelligence, but they retain sort of an animal level intelligence, unlike zombies, and are typically brought back from the corpses of samurai. Looking at the armor now, Hisoka, you can sort of tell this is sort of warped but distinct. This is the armor of the Imperial family.
Okay.
So this whoever this Bushi was in life, however long ago they were buried here, they were a part of the Imperial court, not the Dragon Clan.
So I share that. Well,
Is it going to come back?
Oh no! Once the head is
No.
removed, they're dead.
It is-
Hayato offers. It would seem that whoever stole the scroll left a present behind. Hayato says.
What scroll?
Hisoki gives Hayato a look.
Hayata looks at Hisoka and looks down at the Revenant. I trust that none of you practice Maho, looking at the other three.
No.
Kisagi-sama.
I have my
believe you
hand
should-
raised because Aaron has a question.
Use.
Kisaki-sama, I believe you should inform the others of our mission. And he bows his head.
This person might be working with the Blood Speakers, whoever they are.
Out of character question, would the presence of such an entity, as they've been discussing it, explain the sort of absence of kami from the area?
Yes,
Okay.
Kami don't like Maho.
Yeah. But this basically could account for that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
This is exactly what you would expect if with the Kami having vacated the room.
Well, it certainly explains the limited number of kami down here. Hinata is very politely ignoring that unless Hisoka says anything else about it.
Akane just kind of takes some cloth and bandages the one spot where the wound was.
I'm staring straight at Hisoka.
So, care to fill us in or not late, or not until later?
There is a scroll that was taken from here. That may be related to all of this. And that is all he says about it.
Hayato nods. I felt it pertinent to allow Kisage-sama to explain here where there would be no other prying ears or eyes. And with the presence of this creature, I'm confident that none of the three of you are behind it.
Yes, this is usually the work of someone of the Blood Speaker cult.
And he'll just sort of step back, half in shadow, watching the rest of you.
Which means that unless our lost monk friend has learned some Maho, which is entirely possible, we may have problems. If a blood speaker has infiltrated this monastery, taken a scroll, and raised a body, who knows where they could be now?
We can, of course, pursue other seemingly related effects.
Should the monks be alerted of what happened here?
I feel like the political answer is yes, but I'm not sure if I have to roll for that.
How long
We
ago would a scroll like that have to be used to do something like that? Is this something where the person the blood speaker would have to be here recently to do that, or have they long gone?
I think if the blood speaker wasn't here recently, someone would have stumbled across this revenant if they had journeyed down to the catacombs.
Give me a lore Shadowlands check. Anyone that wants to.
I'll try.
I'm assuming this isn't like
15.
within the realm of
Probably
spellcast,
don't know.
spellcraft for me.
No, not for you.
It's
You-
a very, very low chance.
This is specifically stuff you were not taught.
Yes, but I didn't know if I was like taught. Okay, so if you see one of those things, there's one of these people nearby.
Yeah, no. This is
but, yeah.
this is more in the minutia of these are secrets that your master wouldn't have known.
Obviously.
5, 15, 11, 15. The two 15s. So
So just to make clear, because obviously my attention has to be split a little bit of time, so I just want to clarify. All of this is going off information that was not specifically notated, discussed only between Tagashi and
The
Ahsoka,
only
right?
the only information
I just wanted to make
yeah,
sure.
the only information that they
Okay.
have is that a scroll was taken. They do not know what kind of scroll.
Yes. Okay. I just
Um,
wanted to make.
Yeah.
If it helps any, I wasn't actually paying attention to that conversation because I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. No, I
Of
Fair
course, I paid attention, but I won't say anything.
Um.
Kind of my stick.
So,
I just wanted to make sure. No, I just wanted to make sure because
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how clear I made it that none of that has been disclosed yet.
Yes. None of that
Yeah.
has been disclosed. Hayato only said a scroll. He didn't go into specific.
Yes.
But Hisoka and Akane. Akane, you're familiar with zombie traps, which is basically a Maho user, a bloodsinger, will basically animate a corpse and leave it in a pile of corpses for someone to find. Like when they're coming to gather their dead, basically. And so what ends up happening is they come to gather the dead crab to take them all for burning, and as they're picking up one body, another one leaps out at them. And those can be there for days or weeks, to the point where basically if a body's been laying in a pile of other bodies for more than a week, they just burn the whole pile. From your experience, and then Hisoka, from what you have read, not necessarily what you've experienced, but once a creature has been animated, it stays animated with whatever orders were given it by its creator for however long it takes to fulfill that order.
The question then becomes, how regularly are catacombs cleaned or maintained?
And what was the order given to the Revenant?
Yeah, because theoretically, if someone had come down here to, wander the catacombs and make sure everything was in order, they would have run across this Revenant before we did.
Yes.
Once a body is raised, it's raised.
Mm-hmm.
The question then becomes, was it simply that no one's been down here in a long time to find it, or was it raised recently enough that we're the first to come down?
Looking around, I will go to the door, etc. Do a quick look around. How undisturbed for a long period of time is this place?
It's fairly dusty. It doesn't look like it's regularly traveled.
Okay. That is conceivable.
Well, we have to find the scroll then, so that it doesn't keep raising more of that.
I'm equally concerned, however, with how a blood speaker made its way into a monk's monastery. And I think that we should...
If this area
Very good
is
question.
infrequently traveled, even if it is essentially open to those within the monastery, there may have been some notice taken if someone frequented here, or we could pursue that line of questioning, perhaps.
You can ask around.
I
Yeah.
definitely think the monk should be alerted to the fact that someone
Absolutely.
might have been here.
Yes.
Not
this
to suggest lying,
body should be disposed of.
but do we want
Attention,
to do
quick
that?
returns.
Yeah, but do we want to ask around with the monks about anyone who has been seen around this area before we alert the monastery? I don't know how fast that information will spread. And whoever we're seeking may take whatever chance they get to flee.
You're not wrong.
Seems like
It's not lying. That is a very different thing. Discretion is not deceit.
If I may, Hayato will step forward out of the shadows. If the person that did this got into these catacombs unnoticed or was familiar with the other monks, it is entirely possible that they might still be able to listen in and hear whatever the monks may know. If such a case is true, then informing them right now may only serve to tip off our quarry. Not suggesting that we don't tell them, but that we find more details as to who we're after before informing them.
Discretion.
Yes, discretion is fine.
For a longer period of time than I think was implicated previously.
This body needs to be disposed of either way.
That's not something that can be done very discreetly.
Yase-sama, do you know the seals required to put a body to rest?
DM?
Give me a spellcraft check.
Because I don't have a spell for that. 20.
So the protections against raising the undead, there are two forms. There is a spell in the Earth Ring that does that.
Yeah.
And there's also sort of a ritual that you apply when burying bodies that aren't being burned. You know the symbol, and you know how to you know the question to ask of the kami. You've never done it before. You're not certain how effective it would be, but you know the theory behind it.
Okay. Follow-up question. Does that fall under the low skills things you're not supposed to do category?
No. That is absolutely something Shugenja is supposed to do. You've just never done one.
I am, of course, well versed in the practice. It's not something I have specifically had practical training in. But of course, my services are at your disposal, with sort of glancing towards Kisaki at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It is of course up to you, Kisaki-sama. However, I may suggest, now that it has been beheaded, it is dead. It should not come back. But we can, until such a time as we feel it's safe, to inform the monks of this incident, return it to its vessel, reseal it.
That was definitely something I was considering.
And he'll step back.
How offensive is it to me, the idea of sealing a Shadowlands tainted body among relatively pure corpses?
Oh, that's a good question. Is that against the rules?
For me, as a crab clan specifically.
It's practical. Like it's like from your perspective is that in this particular instance, that's probably one of the, like, aside from burning the body, which would leave a mess. It's not all that offensive because it's being sealed away. It's not like you're tossing it into a pile of other bodies that aren't tainted by the Shadowlands. You're putting it in a very specific box and closing that box in such a way that it can't be opened again.
Okay.
Or at least not without a Shugenja.
Yeah.
Like, there's a line like the crab clan are very practical, but when it comes to Shadowlands taint, they don't fuck around.
No,
so.
they don't. This would definitely be without a proper crab clan Shugenja to purify the body. That would certainly be an acceptable way of putting it in a Tupperware container until you have one, basically.
Yeah. We're keeping it sealed and fresh.
Until you can
know,
get a
like, put that rotten fruit in a container and put it in the back of the fridge.
Until you can get a proper Earthring Shugenja to actually deal with it. That's a fine way. That's a perfectly acceptable way to lock it away. As far as you're concerned.
Alright.
If we do this, we should keep note of it so that a proper cleansing can be done later once we've alerted the monks.
Obviously.
Of course.
I will mark it, Hayato says.
Alright, let's do it.
Of course.
You guys load this body into the coffin. The thing that you notice, those of you that haven't interacted with Shadowlands creatures before, the thing that you notice is, as much as this is a zombie, it's still pretty fucking well built. Like, the Maho involved in resurrecting it apparently returns muscle mass to long dead bodies. And you guys dump it in, close the lid.
And revenants specifically stop decaying once they're animated.
Yep. And Hayato marks the thing as Hinata pulls out a bit of seal paper, draws what approximates to a seal using your spellcraft roll as to determine the accuracy of the seal. To you, it seems pretty accurate. And you stick it on the coffin, enticing the kami to protect it. You get a vague affirmative reaction from the kami. You're not certain, having never done it before, you're not certain if that's what you're supposed to get or not, but
It's like doing something in chemistry class where you put all of the little things in the beaker and then you're like, well, it's blue now, but I genuinely don't know what was supposed to happen.
yeah.
That's when you look over at the other. Did yours turn blue?
There's no one to cheat off of. I'm doing the makeup test.
Terrible.
All right, so you have resealed the body in its coffin.
Okay. Let's go.
You all leave. As you all leave, Hayato closes the gate behind you, and you hear a clicking sound.
And we go further?
Yeah, but where are you going from here?
I mean...
So
We're going to
Last-
ask questions.
oh, were we asked? I thought we said we weren't going to ask questions. We were just going to go back. I don't.
The suggestion that Hayato had made was to investigate further beyond the Citadel.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's why
Yeah.
we are still going.
Okay, so you all
after we
continue
leave the
going.
door.
Yeah.
All right.
You continue to leave. You head down to the docks.
We take a left step. Then we take a
Alright.
right step.
I'm
Then we-
just
Yes,
giving
I
you
assume we
guys
go to the.
I'm just giving you...
plenty
Let's-
of time to change your mind. You head down to the docks. You get onto a boat. You have an
Typically when-
hour on a boat.
Typically, when the DM is taking his time to let you change your mind, is an implication.
No, the implication is I know how much you fuckers change your mind.
Yeah, I know.
It's the same implication as you're on the ship in Star Wars. Do you do anything?
Yeah.
Do you do anything? Okay, we're ending this. Do you do anything?
You have an hour on the boat. The boat eventually docks. And you are back in the Sengoku no Mizumi city proper.
Hinata is definitely, because reasonably high base perception, appraising Hayato, not saying anything at this time, but
He's mostly just sitting with his arms crossed.
Okay.
Produces a cup of tea from somewhere, drinks it.
Just mysterious.
Get off the
You,
boat.
you have all
and
gotten off
keep
the boat.
Going.
Where are you going from here? I genuinely don't know where you're going from here.
I think we need to go to Kawa no Futago next, and then north from there.
So the previous suggestions that have been put forward were going straight to Kawa no Futago. Checking with.
I mean, no, we're not
Togashi,
going
Hideki.
straight there because we need to at least notify the people here who we were
And
working on
check
the
in with the
investigation.
Shugenja who
Yeah.
actually can check locations.
There we go. So what are you doing immediately next?
Hinata will put forth the possibility of going to check in on the investigation in the Shugenja. If no one else is
Yes.
need
No,
to do
by
something
all
else.
means.
I
Okay.
definitely suggest it. Yep.
All right, so you head back to the magistrate's office, and the guards there direct you. When you ask about Hideki, they direct you to a shrine nearby. You go in and you find Hideki standing there behind a very traditionally garbed Shugenja, wearing basically sort of Shinto priest robes with the tall hat and everything. Who has put a seal similar to the one that Hinata just put on a coffin an hour or so ago on the face of the of both bodies of the two bodies that still have a head from the precinct, from the magistrate's office, and on the sort of collar area of the one that doesn't have a head anymore, and is currently chanting a prayer over them. Hideki sees you all, nods, and sort of steps away to leave the Shugenja to his work. Well, I see you've all returned.
We have. We received additional confirmation that Kawano Futago seems to be our next destination.
Oh, then, I wish you luck on your journey. Is there anything else I can do to assist?
We were wondering if you had any updates from your further investigations of the...
Well, all three of these men appear to have acquired some level of Shadowlands taint. Whether it was during the act of killing them or sometime beforehand, the Shugenja is not certain. Would not have been enough to be detectable prior, but after their deaths it was.
Looking both to Akane and to him. I'm not as versed in the specifics of the Shadowlands. Could the intentional attacks on and removal of heads be related to that?
Not likely. The removal of the head seemed to be more a message than any sort of function. The attacks were swift and precise. The sole act of barbarism would be the one head.
Mm-hmm. Right. For some reason, I thought everyone's head got smashed, but only one got exploded.
One person's face got crushed, but his head was otherwise fine. The other person had his neck snapped, shoulder, elbow, and wrist snapped.
My notes were just a little less specific on the gore details. Sorry.
If you'd like to speak with the Shugenja, they'll be done with the cleansing ritual in a few minutes.
Wonderful.
He'll turn and cross his arms and wait, and you guys sort of watch. After a few moments, the prayer reaches a crescendo, and you see there are piles of jade dust scattered around each body, which glow with energy as the prayer sort of reaches its peak, and the dust sort of becomes a gas that flows down and engulfs these three bodies before sucking inside them to seemingly preserve the body from any further incursion of the Shadowlands taint. The Shugenja claps his hands, and two others come forward, and six others come forward and acquire the bodies and take them off.
How many people does it take to carry 3 bodies?
Two per body. 6 people. Yeah, and he sort of turns around. Bows. How may I be of assistance?
We were wondering if perhaps you had any further details.
Regarding the deaths of these three,
we understand that they seem to have acquired taint in some capacity.
Yes.
they were indeed touched by the Shadowlands. Not quite heavy enough to make me presume any of them were agents of the Shadowlands, but enough that I could assume that one tainted as such was involved in their deaths. The strength exhibited, at least in the crushing of one man's skull, would also line up with reports and first-hand experience that I have had of Shadowlands creatures. Their strength is quite formidable and terrifying at times.
Mm-hmm.
I have cleansed the bodies of the taint that they were exposed to, and they will now be properly disposed of.
How does one acquire this taint? We're going to be trying to stop some of them, and we want to make sure we're safe.
Getting exposed to a creature that is created by or possessed of the taint is typically enough. Suffering an injury at their hands can taint you, especially if they were to bite or claw you. Being in an area in which the Shadowlands taint is strong without any protective jade would certainly be a way to also suffer this taint. Jade is the protective element. It prevents the taint from taking hold and firms the body and mind against its influence.
This is a strange request, but can you check our group?
Certainly.
We talked to someone who was killed.
You're muted, Aaron.
Yeah.
Never mind, it's a stupid question.
Mm-hmm. Right. Ari's worried about this. We talked.
Ari doesn't know how this works. Akane does. Akane is not worried.
Yeah. Ari does not, and she's worried. So yeah.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Does Hisoka have a specific objection?
And I just kind of step forward.
Hisoka's more just
actually
surprised that it was brought
so
up in that
I don't
way.
know if I don't know if this would matter. I don't know if this would matter to Irie, but Hinata has said several times that she can do that.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, she's several times vocalized to the group that she can detect it.
Okay.
I don't know if that would change Irie's statements, but I just want to remind.
Actually, how suspicious is she? No, that actually would change. Then I probably wouldn't actually bring it up if I know that.
And Hinata definitely was not in physical contact with.
Yeah. Then actually I wouldn't bring it up. That's a good point. Yeah, thanks.
That was all I wanted to say. Sorry about that.
Yep.
So, something Irie would also know. Like, from what they just said, you don't necessarily have to be physically in contact with them, just in the area. And while Hinata can read other people, Hinata can't read herself.
Dang it. You know what? I'm going to bring this up.
I mean, after it was brought up,
then commence sort of uncertain how to react, whether angry or furious or.
So with
Hinata just looks rather confused.
After this statement, Akane just kind of steps forward with being the Crab Clan who is familiar with what Shadowlands Taint manifests as and confident that she, as the one who got the most in contact with this person, is fine. It's me she's worried about. If you'd like to put her worries at ease.
Certainly. Um,
You ever seen a brain try to combat and figure out what the what the proper proportion of offense to angry to free? That's sort of what's going on inside.
it's the
his
picture
brain.
of that guy that's really angry and trying to hold it in, and just like his forehead has gone purple and there's a vein popping out.
See,
Heck,
this is
I-
why
like
Hinata does not actually just use Ancestor Sight.
You should probably use like I don't know whether that's courtier or sincerity.
Because
to hide that.
Would you
Um,
check?
I feel like is that sincerity?
No, it would be meditation for the ability to keep calm.
Shadowlands
Hey!
Tain at Shadowlands Tain at her level is not detectable unless you have disadvantaged sight.
So yeah, you're quite a bit agitated. Hisoka.
Okay.
In order to hide your agitation would be a sincerity roll.
Yeah. Which I will try, and I'm
I am just
that.
sort of generally trying to gauge the group reaction to that.
Oh yeah.
Give
do
me
you,
a
do you want me to
cordial
roll
roll then.
anything to see why I am bringing this up?
33.
You are
I visibly give no shit.
as calm as a cucumber on the outside. On the
There's just
inside, roiling storm.
There's just
What
like
was
the,
the roll,
there's just like
John?
the slightest raise of an eyebrow.
Cordial roll for Hinata.
Beautiful.
9. Because apparently perception is not the thing for.
Hisoka seems fine.
No problem.
She's just generally curious.
Are you gauging the entire group or just Hisoka?
Anyone that wants can make a sincerity roll. If
Okay.
you want to disguise your intentions currently.
Akane is disguising nothing.
I'm fishing. I'm circling around again.
Then Hinata knows whatever you want Hinata to know
Okay.
from that, based on those rolls.
I am trying to present I'm trying to present a sort of like we're gonna be going into a dangerous situation and you should not go alone.
Yep.
That's what I'm presenting.
Hinata is just projecting her typical confused ice queen. Or her typical ice queen with this layer of, that was not where I expected this to go, but okay.
So,
Which is
We can go
completely
there.
the Shugenja sort of pulls up a slip of paper and an ink brush and very swiftly and deftly draws a seal on the brush and applies it to Akane's forehead. Then
I'm used to this. They probably check us every time we come back from a fight.
yeah, typically. There is some jade dust pulled out of a bag and thrown basically over Akane's front, and this chanting begins. The jade dust begins to glow green, and this green glow sort of engulfs Akane and swirls around her before going into the seal. And the Shugenja pulls the seal off. No, there doesn't seem to be any detectable taint within this one.
The bottle pops open. I take a quick drink. I fight these things as part of my duty, Irie. You're fine.
I'd like to get checked anyway. Step forward.
Sure. Same thing happens to you. No discernible taint on you
Sweet.
either. Anyone else? Hayato step forward. Sure. He wants to try it out, have the experience. Boom. Nothing.
Hinata will step forward. In interest of just clarifying our own ability to verify.
Click. You are clean. And he sort of turns to look at Hisoka, the only one that hasn't had it done yet.
I'm fine.
Very well.
That will not be necessary.
It bows its head. If you do intend, however, to pursue any sort of investigation into Shadowlands taint that may have caused this, I would recommend some jade.
Yes, do you know where we
Yes,
could acquire
yes.
some fingers?
You can pick up some jade fragments in the market here in town. They should be relatively cheap. We don't typically, there's not a huge demand for them aside from ornamentation. So if you look for some slightly less fine cut, you should be able to find it relatively cheap.
So I look over my shoulder at the rest of the group. A finger of jade will last you 7 days of traveling in the Shadowlands. It should do us fine for 1 finger for each of us to survive a light exposure.
Of course.
I'm
Yes.
out to your experience.
All right. So you, you guys go out into the markets and find a ornamental jade seller. They're mostly like jade is rare, rarer on the wall, and on areas closer to Shadowlands. It has its uses, and Shugenja often stockpile an amount of it for healing and detection and things like that. But you can
Expensive though.
It is expensive. You can find a finger of jade for 1 koku each.
I honestly should have a finger of jade, so I will spend one of my 3 koku.
Does anyone either not want to spend their own money or not have enough money?
That was going to be my question as well.
Ivory doesn't have any money.
I have no money.
I will buy.
I will take out a couple of candles and see if I can trade them.
No, I will buy 1 for Irie.
Okay.
So you all
Because
have...
I have 9 koku.
Yeah, you're rich. Don't rub it in.
You all have, and you see Hayato, putting one around his neck as well. You all have finger of jade, with a leather strap around it that you can wear as a necklace.
Yeah, I realized that I should have a finger of jade as a Crab Clan warrior, all things considered.
You should. And you have all sort of you've acquired the protection you need to prevent yourself from easily succumbing to Shadowlands taint. You can still be affected by it, but the jade helps resist it.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, that is the only jewelry that Irie has. That's it.
Yeah. Well, and jade is, while jade can be used to show ostentation and material wealth, in this particular case, it has a function.
So I can do that.
Aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as everyone's putting it on, I sort of explain the functionality of jade from a Crab Clan perspective. Jade is not only a protective measure, it's also an indicator. As it absorbs more taint, it'll gain imperfections and darken. Once it cracks and is broken, you're no longer protected.
Hinata will also, at the same time, just sort of explain from a Shugenja perspective that it's typically considered a bit rude, especially if someone is of higher station, to imply that they are tainted, with some exceptions for very near the wall and stuff like that. So,
like wandering into a catacombs and refusing to leave as I put the jade on.
That place was not saturated with taint. There was the one creature. You would know if it was present.
Indeed.
and if in the future you have such concerns, I am able to offer a service that's often considered more accurate.
Remind me to take you to the wall at some point. I'll show you what the Shadowlands looks like.
I've seen it. It is
Thank
an
you,
experience.
Yeah. Thank you, Yassi-san. That's good to know. I'm glad most of us got checked, though.
So,
Important question, because my honor is currently high.
Mine's terrible by now.
Like enduring an insult to my fiance that I'm not supposed to do, or just
Does that read as an insult to your fiance?
Yeah, I was just kind of saying. I was sort of going with.
it's
you
not,
I mean,
unchecked.
Intent, regardless.
it is not an explicit insult.
Yeah.
okay.
It was a statement that can be interpreted in many ways. Which is how you insult people in courts without losing
Crane
honor.
clan.
That's
Yes, I was just clarifying for my own sake.
No. It was not a direct insult, therefore it does not
In that case,
qualify.
Hinata will just sort of incline her head and drift so that she is sort of at Hisoka's side. Just kind of using positioning to support one of the courtiers in this particular duel of passive aggressive.
Hayato sort of places himself between the three of you. Well then, I believe we should be on the way.
We are such an awkward group.
Are we going?
Yes, we are going.
Akane starts walking.
And the snow crunches under your feet as you set off. It's fairly early in the day still, so you walk through the snowy fields of Tengoku no Tani for quite some time, finding yourselves back on the path that leads from one village to another. It will take several hours throughout the day for you to get to Kawano Futago, and by the time you get there, it will be approaching dusk. Is there anything any of you want to do while on the road heading there?
How injured is Akane?
Not even wounded.
Akane has some injury, but not enough that it would impact her ability to move.
My healthy
only a
level is
flashback.
So
healthy level
Hinata
is
will, with permission, just over the course of it, check everyone for potential injuries. If anyone's still like wounded enough that they will still be injured tomorrow.
Give me medicine checks, one for each.
What is the rate of healing per day? Actually,
Slow.
slow. Okay.
It's not great, but I think it's like somewhere around 3 or your Earth Ring. John, if you could look that up while I'm making the
it's
rolls.
tied to your Earth Ring as I looked this up.
Okay. I'm gonna say the names as I roll them. Hisoka, 14.
Hisoka seems fairly uninjured.
Akane, 21.
Akane could use some, and in fact, with that roll, you can go ahead and roll one keep one to see how much you can patch Akane up.
One.
Roll a d10.
Roll one keep one. Yeah, 1d10.
Right.
Double explosions.
Yes. 1d10 bang bang.
2.
You heal
Sorry.
2 wounds, Akane.
It's all right.
As Hinata sort of reinforces, actually applies a proper bandage to the wound that you have.
Ari, 16.
Irie was more shaken up by the underground than injured, so
Okay, and Hayato, because yesterday, 12.
Hayato seems perfectly healthy.
And myself, 11, but I'm also fairly certain I'm not injured because
You know your own injury.
I noticed
without
that
having to
pretty
roll.
quickly.
Yeah, you know your own health levels without having to roll.
Yeah.
As I'm trying to find the healing stuff.
I believe that healing is in rest, or like how
Healing
much you
wounds.
heal.
Simplest manner to recover wounds is by resting. For every night's rest a character gets, he recovers a number of wounds equal to twice his stamina trait, plus his insight rank.
Okay, so
What's your stamina trait?
3. So 6 plus 1 for my insight rank. So
you
7.
heal 7 every night.
Yeah, I'll be over halfway to completely healed in one night.
Like I said,
Okay.
it's slow.
Actually,
but
if we're gonna be traveling for most of the day, I'll just cure you anyways, because then if we run into a fight tomorrow, you'll be totally fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
roll the cure wounds.
Half inner peace.
You succeed.
You heal 13 wounds.
I have no wounds left.
Yep. See.
So yeah, Hinata pulls out a spell scroll, places it over the wound that you've suffered, recites an incantation from the scroll, and this blue light sort of feeds out of the scroll into your wound, and you feel rejuvenated. And as Hinata pulls the scroll back, the flesh is completely mended.
Which is interesting because I imagine like with an upward spear swipe, it's probably like right here, like
Yeah,
lower side
so like
midsection.
it was like sort of a gash going from like your hip up to the armpit, and it's just whoosh, gone.
To be fair, given my height, is probably not super low from eye level.
No.
For Hinata.
Yeah, I am kind of tiny.
And I'm kind of gigantic.
So yeah, you heal Akane, and you all continue traveling. Go ahead and give me perception checks, everyone, as you're traveling across the road.
Perception.
Ooh, 24.
13.
22.
24,
With 2 1s.
11.
22,
Yeah.
and 11.
No, 22 was not a great roll for me.
Akane, you're keeping an eye out. You don't see any bandits or anything, and that's kind of what you're focused on right now. Hisoka, you're still overcoming a headache that you gave yourself.
I mean, I feel like it's a headache that several members of my party gave me.
Yeah, so you have this pounding headache that's just... It's being exacerbated by all the bright light.
Look,
on
I'm
the
going
snow.
by your deception roll and assuming that I don't notice this.
You
It's
don't.
true.
You do not.
Because otherwise I could fix that.
No, not this one. But Hinata and Airi, as you are walking around, you sort of just Airi in particular, you sort of go to food because you're kind of hungry. Terror makes you hungry,
Yeah.
and you suddenly realize none of you have eaten yet. So you sort of pull out a rice ball from your rations and start eating. And as you do so, you notice something. You should look up and sort of the tree line to the south, because you guys are sort of passing the fork that separates the path from Tintogoku no Mizuni to Kawa no Futago. And in the tree line to the south of these deciduous trees, you see something that looks like it's like a bundle of something on the ground.
There's something over there. I'm gonna swallow
Mhm.
and head closer.
Okay. Give me another perception check.
Okay.
As the rest of the group stops.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 12 that time.
It looks like it's something in a bush. Like, you can't quite tell. You'd have to get closer and, like, sort of look in the bush to find out what it is.
Yeah, I'll get closer. I'm feeling overconfident right now, so.
Give
You
me
got that finger of jade. You're invincible.
Mm,
give me an agility check.
okay. Pretty good at agility. 16.
That's good. So you notice as you step into what appears to be some sort of rope trap. You are not, however, quick enough to pull your foot back out as it cinches closed on your ankles and you go flying into the air.
That's a rope trap.
And everyone else watches Irie get yanked off of her feet and hang upside down from a rope trap in the air.
It's just
That's
like
a rope trap.
there's a
I
quiet
yell
moment.
as I'm
and-
hanging upside down.
There's a quiet moment, and then
I don't know if it would be a hunting or something to help Irie down.
Yeah, I'm
I
going to
was-
go over
Yeah.
there really quick.
Be a hunting check. As Hayato just sort of covers his face and looks.
I'm gonna try and like.
Does
sort
this
of,
look like it
curl
was
up and stick my
intended for
foot out.
person or intended for like a fox or something?
It looks like it was intended for an animal.
Okay.
just made sturdy enough that apparently it can catch a human.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you never know what kind of animal you're gonna catch.
Yeah. Humans are animals.
18.
Yeah, no, you guys find the anchoring point and release it and slowly lower Irie to the ground.
Are you all right?
Yep, I'm fine. Just my dignity. I'm gonna take my foot out of the thing and
Pull it off.
look around at it to see because I don't know. Things have been grabbing people off the side of roads. Does this look like just a simple kind of hunting, like a
Looks like
hunting kind of trap?
Looks like a hunting trap. Now that you've triggered it, you sort of look around and you see, oh, there's another one over there that looks like it has something stuck in it.
what's in it.
You
I'm
can't-
still hungry.
You can't quite tell from this angle. You go closer,
I'm
look at it.
going to slowly approach,
Yeah, sure.
That's
keeping an eye out.
You all sort of approach, and you see what looks like the body of someone dressed in all black,
Oh, god damn it.
missing a head, with
Yep.
just sort of a bloody mess underneath
that's
it
a
and
thing.
along the tree.
Yep.
And as you all approach this, quite frankly, horrific sight,
Hand up.
we're going to call an end to the episode for there. So we will see you all next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.